The Black Dahlia mystery is one of the most infamous unsolved cases in American history, a story that continues to intrigue and horrify people more than 70 years after the tragedy took place. At the center of this chilling narrative is Elizabeth Short, a young woman whose life was tragically cut short in 1947, leaving behind a legacy surrounded by questions that remain unanswered. Elizabeth Short was born on July 29, 1924, in Hyde Park, Massachusetts, Perry. She would later become known as the Black Dahlia, a nickname that reflected both the striking beauty of her dark features and her penchant for wearing black attire. In her early 20s, she moved to California with aspirations of becoming an actress, navigating the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. However, her dreams were marred by a life characterized by struggle and tumult. Despite her enduring charm and beauty, Elizabeth often faced rejection in the competitive world of film. The mystery deepened dramatically on January 15, 1947. On this day, a mother walking with her child in Leimert Park, a neighborhood in Los Angeles, stumbled upon a shocking sight: the dismembered body of Elizabeth Short, left in a vacant lot. The discovery sent waves of panic and intrigue through the city, captivating the media and the public alike. Elizabeth's body had been carefully positioned, making it clear that the individual responsible was likely familiar with forensic techniques. The gruesome nature of the crime, coupled with the meticulous arrangement of her remains, played a significant role in shaping the narrative surrounding the case. The media frenzy that ensued was nothing short of remarkable. News outlets quickly dubbed her the Black Dahlia, and stories about her life and death were splashed across newspapers. The public was entranced, not just by the brutality of the crime, but also by the mystery of Elizabeth Short's life. As the investigation unfolded, countless theories emerged about who could have committed such a heinous act. The police received an overwhelming number of tips that complicated the search for the truth. Every lead was a potential breakthrough, but each was also a step deeper into a labyrinth of speculation and false hopes. In the days following the discovery of her body, investigators interviewed a multitude of witnesses and acquaintances who had crossed paths with Elizabeth. Many described her as friendly and vivacious, yet some painted a picture of a woman struggling to find her place in a city that was simultaneously seductive and ruthless. Reports unveiled a multitude of potential suspects, from jilted lovers to unstable acquaintances, yet none were ultimately proven to be involved. One of the most compelling aspects of the Black Dahlia case is the sheer number of suspects and theories that have emerged over the decades. These theories have come from detectives, amateur sleuths, and even writers attempting to piece together the puzzle. Some suggested the involvement of high-profile figures from Hollywood, while others speculated about serial killers who had roamed Los Angeles during that period. Each new theory opened fresh avenues for exploration, but also added to the complexity of the case. As time passed, the case became a study in public fascination, shaping the way modern crime stories are told. From novels to films, the Black Dahlia has been represented in various forms of media, each interpretation adding layers to her story and prompting audiences to engage with the mystery. It wasn't just a crime, it became a cultural phenomenon. The allure of Elizabeth Short's life, her unsolved murder, and the dark intrigue surrounding it captured the imaginations of countless people, leading to a thirst for resolution that remains unquenched. Despite the passage of time, the investigation has seen its share of renewed interest, particularly as genealogical research and advancements in forensic technology have opened new doors. New evidence can spark hope among those devoted to uncovering the truth about Elizabeth's tragic fate. Yet, each new lead remains a reminder of the many dead ends that the case has witnessed over the years. The legacy of the Black Dahlia is more than just a grim chapter in the annals of crime history. It serves as a reflection on the complexities of identity, the search for justice, and the ways in which society grapples with unresolved mystery. Elizabeth Short became an icon, not just for her beauty, but as a representation of all the victims whose stories demand attention. As we continue to explore the depths of this haunting mystery, we find ourselves drawn into the pages of a true crime novel that feels at once historical and contemporary. The search for the truth about the Black Dahlia is ongoing, a testament to our universal desire to seek answers, to unearth the stories behind those who lived and died, and to hold accountable those who commit such unimaginable acts. The Black Dahlia mystery invites us into a world where the lines between hero and villain blur, and where the truth remains tantalizingly just out of reach. The fascination with Elizabeth Short and her untimely death remains a poignant reminder of the mysteries that continue to shape our world, evoking a deeper understanding of the complexities of life and the tragic stories that often go unheard. The Zodiac Killer presents one of the most captivating and chilling enigmas in criminal history. Their reign of terror gripped Northern California during the late 1960s and early 1970s, marked by a series of brutal murders that sent shockwaves through the community and beyond. This mysterious figure captured the public's imagination and fueled a plethora of conspiracy theories and speculations, yet their true identity has managed to elude investigators for decades. The Zodiac Killer began their infamous spree on December 20th, 1968, in Vallejo, California. Two high school students, Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, became the killer's first known victims. They were ambushed on a secluded road, a scene untouched by typical violence. This initial crime was just the beginning of a series of heinous acts. An air of horror enveloped the region as reports of additional killings surfaced. In July 1969, the killer struck again, this time targeting a young couple, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Majot. They were parked in a quiet area when the Zodiac approached them. The scene became increasingly graphic as the killer shot both victims. Miraculously, Michael survived to offer a witness account that would prove crucial, yet the Zodiac's methodical and calculated actions left little trace. What gives the Zodiac Killer a unique place in the annals of crime is not only the murders themselves, but also the bizarre communications that followed. After committing his crimes, the Zodiac taunted law enforcement and the public with letters. These missives were adorned with cryptic symbols and riddles, some of which remain unsolved. In one of these letters, he described the thrill he derived from killing, likening it to a game. Each letter was a punch to the gut for law enforcement, creating a puzzle with no immediate solutions. One of the most infamous letters contained a cipher that intrigued amateur and professional cryptographers alike. On July 20th, 1969, the San Francisco Chronicle published this coded message, prompting the public to try and decode it. It took nearly a week, but a husband and wife team successfully cracked the code, revealing chilling words, including a sinister boast that the killer was collecting slaves for the afterlife. This added a perplexing layer to the already frenzied public interest and fear surrounding the case. The unprecedented nature of the Zodiac case continues to fuel speculation about the killer's identity. The police, alongside numerous citizen sleuths, have identified a range of suspects throughout the years, yet none have been definitively proven to be the Zodiac. Theories swirl around various figures, including Arthur Leigh Allen, a convicted child molester, and other possible candidates. Each suspect carries their own set of evidence and shortcomings, leaving many questions unanswered. The geographical footprint of the killings spanned from San Francisco to Lake Berryessa and around the Napa area. The impressive scope of these crimes demonstrated an almost random selection of victims, yet each murder shared striking similarities. The killer often employed a distinctive modus operandi, suggesting an individual who reveled in orchestration and control. Perhaps what adds to the legend of the Zodiac Killer is his choice of the Zodiac brand as a pseudonym. This choice incited a wave of fascination with astrological symbolism. The killer's identity became an enigmatic blend of horror and allure, intertwining fate and randomness. It could be argued that the Zodiac Killer mirrored the unpredictability of the Zodiac itself, leading individuals to question their own destiny. With advances in forensic science, discussions about the potential to finally unveil the Zodiac Killer have sparked renewed interest. DNA technology offers hopeful avenues for resolution, yet there remain crucial challenges in connecting old evidence to modern techniques. Each breakthrough, or lack thereof, adds another layer of intrigue to an already vibrant narrative. As time progresses, the Zodiac Killer has transitioned from a notorious murderer to a figure entrenched in cultural lore. Movies, books, and television shows have depicted different aspects of the case, illustrating not only the chilling nature of the crimes, but also the enduring quest for resolution. The symbolism inherent in the Zodiac moniker has turned the figure into an almost mythological antagonist, a reflection of society's vulnerabilities and fears. A graphic representation of the Zodiac's letters and ciphers has been a constant fixation for those wanting to understand their motivations. The fascination with the Zodiac extends beyond tragedy. It has sparked an age-old discussion about human psychology, violence, and societal reaction to threat. Each angle explored pulls at the threads of human curiosity and innate desire to solve puzzles, especially those as monstrous as this one. There is a sense of mystery that surrounds the figure, an indelible mark left on those who study this saga deeply. The sheer audacity of the Zodiac Killer, the taunting letters, and the eerie silence in the years following the confirmed killings creates a haunting tableau in the minds of those aware of the narrative. Over half a century since the Zodiac Killer first emerged, the case remains a prominent chapter in the saga of unsolved crimes. The identity of this elusive murderer continues to be a subject of debate and speculation, with each generation adding its voice to the discussion. As new technologies emerge and society evolves, one can only wonder if the truth will ever emerge from the shadows, or if the Zodiac Killer will forever remain a ghost lurking in the annals of American crime history. In the fog-laden streets of Victorian London, a chilling tale unfolded that would capture the imagination of generations to come. The year was 1888 when an unidentified individual, who would forever be known as Jack the Ripper, instilled fear in the hearts of the residents of Whitechapel, a district teeming with poverty and desperation. The name Jack the Ripper evokes a blend of fascination and horror, marking him as one of history's most infamous figures. The story begins during the autumn of that year, a time when the streets were often cloaked in murky shadows and gas lamps flickered dimly against the encroaching darkness. The first of the canonical 5 victims, Mary Ann Nichols, was discovered on August 34. Her tragic fate set off a series of events that would raise questions that remain unanswered over a century later. Nichols' body was found in Bucks Row, now known as Durward Street, revealing the brutal nature of her demise, which bore the hallmarks of a calculated killer. As news of the slaying spread, a palpable sense of dread settled over East London. The victims that followed were Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly. Each woman's life was cut short under harrowing circumstances, and the gruesome details highlighted the grotesque nature of the crimes. The press sensationalized the murders, using vivid language and bold headlines that captivated the public, and led to widespread hysteria. During this time, London's police force was overwhelmed. Investigators found themselves grappling with the atmosphere of uncertainty. As the bodies piled up, so did theories regarding the killer's identity. The public was desperate for answers, and the police desperately needed clues. Letters began to surface, purportedly from the killer himself, taunting the authorities and further deepening the intrigue surrounding this notorious figure. Among these letters, one stood out in particular, especially in the eyes of the media. Dated September 27, 1888. It was signed Jack the Ripper. The letter offered morbid insights and suggestions that unnerved the already frightened populace. While many have speculated about the authenticity of these letters, they undeniably added to the enigmatic persona of Jack the Ripper, embedding his name in the annals of crime history. As investigations continued, theories emerged about the potential identity of the Ripper. A myriad of suspects, ranging from local butcher shops to members of the royal family, were scrutinized. The case even drew in experts who attempted to profile the mind of the murderer. Their analyses revolved around questions of motive, background, and psychological profile, but they ultimately led to dead ends. The passage of time only deepened the mystery as new suspects emerged with each passing decade. The Ripper's crime spree was characterized by its fervent brutality. Investigators noted that not only were the women killed, but their bodies were also mutilated in ways that suggested a chilling familiarity with anatomy. Some have theorized that the killer might have had some medical training, drawing attention to the notion that this individual possessed a cold, calculated nature. This speculation further fueled the idea that Jack the Ripper was not just a random act of violence, but a figure capable of horrific acts. The impact of the case extended beyond fear. It also forced society to confront some hard truths. The plight of women in the East End came into sharp focus, and the discrepancies in social class and public safety were laid bare. Despite the gruesome nature of the Ripper's actions, the case opened doors to discussions about the marginalized lives of vulnerable women in society, offering a glimpse into their struggles. Even after more than a century, investigations continue, with amateur sleuths and researchers delving into the archives of history, seeking to decode the enigma that is Jack the Ripper. Modern technology has allowed for an intriguing revival of interest in the case. Forensic techniques that were not available during the late 19th century have enabled new examinations of the evidence. Some enthusiasts even utilize advancements in DNA analysis, striving to find a trace that could finally solve the question of the Ripper's identity. Memories of the victims remain, however. They are often overshadowed by the shadow of the killer, yet their lives each tell a story of struggle within the backdrop of a harsh societal landscape. Their stories remind us of the humanity that is often lost in tales of horror, emphasizing the very real lives affected by crime. With every documentary, book, or film that features Jack the Ripper, our fascination with this notorious figure continues to grow. Countless works of fiction have attempted to imagine the life he led, introducing various interpretations, from the chilling to the fantastical. The essence of the Ripper seems to defy time and place, as the intrigue surrounding his identity remains a captivating topic for storytelling. In summary, Jack the Ripper left a dark legacy in the fabric of history, instilling a sense of terror and intrigue that transcends time. His brutal acts point not just to a shadowy killer, but to the broader themes of societal disparity, a struggle for justice, and the resilience of those who suffer in silence. This narrative, rich in both horror and humanity, continues to evoke questions. Who was Jack the Ripper? And what motivates a person toward such unimaginable action? These remain the haunting questions that linger like the fog over Victorian London. In the early hours of December 26, 1996, a tragic event unfolded in Boulder, Colorado, that would capture national attention and spark an enduring mystery. JonBenét Ramsey, a 6-year-old child beauty queen known for her charm and poise, was discovered dead in her family's home. The circumstances surrounding her death have intrigued true crime enthusiasts, journalists, and investigators alike, leading to a whirlwind of theories and discussions that persist even decades later. JonBenét was the daughter of Patsy and John Ramsey, and at a young age she had already participated in numerous beauty pageants, winning awards for her talent and beauty. Her parents, both well-to-do and prominent members of their community, were gripped by an unimaginable nightmare when they reported their daughter missing on that fateful morning. A ransom note was found in the house, demanding an unusual sum of money for her safe return. This note only fueled the flames of speculation regarding the nature of her disappearance. The note, seemingly written in haste, was unusual for several reasons. It demanded $18,000, which was strikingly close to John Ramsey's bonus that year. Some speculated it was a deliberate message intended to mislead investigators, while others saw it as a calculated move by someone with knowledge of the family's financial situation. As law enforcement officials arrived and began their investigation, a series of irregularities emerged. The Ramsey family members were not fully cooperative, and the crime scene displayed elements that resulted in confusion concerning what had transpired. The day after JonBenét's disappearance, her body was found in the basement of the Ramsey home by her father. The discovery raised numerous questions. How could a crime so heinous occur within the confines of a seemingly secure home? More puzzling were the conclusions drawn from the evidence. The cause of death was determined to be blunt force trauma and asphyxiation, but the exact circumstances surrounding her death remained elusive. The way JonBenét was dressed and the circumstances of her discovery led to more speculation about whether this tragedy was premeditated or a crime of passion. As investigators delved deeper into the case, they examined various theories, each more tantalizing than the last. Some focused their suspicions on family involvement. Could someone from within the Ramsey household have committed the act? The theory gained traction, partly due to the strained relationships within the family and the pressure of living in the public eye. Others proposed the idea of a random intruder. However, a question lingered. How had someone entered the house unnoticed and had enough time to commit such a crime? The role of the media in shaping public perception of the case cannot be overlooked. As the story unfolded on television and in newspapers, amateur sleuths began to piece together their own theories based on the scant information available. Some even pointed fingers at various suspects whose motivations were never firmly established. As time went on, the case became a spectacle with intense scrutiny placed on the behavior of JonBenét's parents. Public interest only intensified following the release of a documentary on the case, and various books penned by individuals claiming to have the inside scoop of what transpired. Over the years, rumors would circulate about potential suspects, including a local handyman, a man who claimed to have inside knowledge of the crime, and even long-buried connections to a possible family member. Each twist in the investigation was met with a frenzied public response, leading to further debate about the validity of evidence and the direction of the investigation. As forensic technology advanced in the years following JonBenét's death, investigators revisited pieces of evidence that had previously gone unsolved. DNA testing became a focal point in the quest for answers. The hope was that modern techniques would unveil the identity of the person responsible for this heartbreaking crime. Yet, despite the advances, the case remained cold, leaving many wondering if the truth would ever emerge. In more recent years, true crime podcasts, television series, and online platforms have reignited interest in the case. Each retelling offers fresh insights, alternative theories, and emotional connections to the very real consequences of the tragedy. Conversations on forums and social media continue to dissect each detail, questioning long-held beliefs and scrutinizing the actions of the individuals involved. The mystery surrounding JonBenét Ramsey's death serves as a haunting reminder of the fragility of safety and the complexities that can arise in seemingly ordinary lives. It prompts reflection on issues of privacy, celebrity, and the media's role in the narrative of crime and justice. The age of the internet has transformed the landscape of criminal investigations, allowing anyone with an interest to contribute to the debate, sometimes with little regard for the facts. As we reflect on this case, we remain captivated by the unsolved nature of JonBenét's death, drawn into a web of speculation and inquiry. Her story is not just a tale of tragedy. It speaks to our deepest fears about loss and the relentless pursuit of truth. The ongoing interest confirms one thing: stories of love and loss, particularly when intertwined with the tragedy of childhood, continue to resonate through the collective consciousness, urging society to seek understanding and closure in the shadows of the past. In the early 20th century, a chilling figure haunted the streets of New Orleans, casting a long shadow over the city's vibrant life. Known as the Axeman of New Orleans, this unidentified serial killer became infamous for a series of brutal murders that took place between 1918 and 1919. The Axeman left a trail of fear in a community that was already grappling with the complexities of post-World War I life. The Axeman primarily targeted Italian immigrants, particularly those who ran grocery stores. His victims were often found in their homes, struck down in the dead of night by a vicious attack with an axe. The brutality of his method, coupled with the randomness of his selection, gripped the city with terror. What set this case apart was not just the heinous acts, but also the eerie manner in which he communicated with the public and authorities. One of the most striking aspects of the Axeman's legacy was the note he left at one of his crime scenes. This letter, written in a playful yet menacing tone, suggested that he was not just a murderer, but a figure who reveled in the fear he inspired. It included a peculiar twist. He expressed a fondness for jazz music. The Axeman boldly declared that if the city's musicians played jazz on a specific night, he would spare the lives of any individuals who were enjoying the music. Such a chilling ultimatum juxtaposed the joyous sounds of jazz with the darkness of his actions, creating a surreal atmosphere. The city's jazz bands took this threat seriously, and for several nights, they filled the streets with music in hopes of appeasing the savage figure among them. As reports of gruesome discoveries continued to surface, the city found itself in a heightened state of anxiety. Businesses closed early, families barricaded their doors, and whispers of the Axeman traveled quickly through the neighborhoods. Each new attack sparked fresh fear and speculation. Some residents even claimed to have spotted the Axeman in the vicinity, adding to the local lore that swirled around this shadowy figure. Police investigations into these brutal murders were fraught with challenges. With no tangible leads and limited forensic science available at the time, law enforcement struggled to gain ground on the investigation. The Axeman appeared to have vanished into thin air after each attack, leaving detectives and the public alike in a state of bewilderment. New Orleans was engaged in a mystery that seemed unsolvable, as the killer boasted of his actions through letters, taunting those who sought to hold him accountable. During this time, the media played a crucial role in shaping the narrative of the Axeman. Newspapers capitalized on the public's fascination and fear, with sensational headlines and vivid accounts of the murders. Each story amplified the intrigue, encouraging speculation about the killer's identity and motives. Some suggested he was a deranged individual, while others considered the possibility of a more sinister conspiracy. Amid the terror, the Axeman's notoriety grew, and he became somewhat of an urban legend. Speculation ran rampant about who could have committed such heinous acts against innocent people. The city was divided in its theories. Some believed he was a disgruntled former worker seeking revenge, while others theorized a psychopathic killer driven by dark impulses. As suddenly as the killings began, they ceased. The Axeman faded from the headlines, and law enforcement no longer chased leads or clues. There was no satisfactory conclusion to the series of gruesome events that had paralyzed a vibrant community with fear. Over time, the mystery of the Axeman turned from real terror to folklore, prompting tales and ghost stories that would be recounted by generations. Decades have passed since those dark days in New Orleans, yet the legend of the Axeman continues to linger, a testament to the interplay of fear and fascination that violence often incites. His story remains a chilling chapter in the history of one of America's most storied cities. Whether viewed as a gruesome nightmare or a tantalizing legend, the tale of the Axeman of New Orleans has become inextricably woven into the fabric of the city's cultural landscape. In the end, this mysterious figure exemplifies how fear can haunt a place long after the threat has disappeared. The unknown has a power all its own, and in the heart of New Orleans, the echoes of the Axeman still resonate, stirring curiosity, intrigue, and an underlying sense of dread. People are drawn to stories that explore the darker sides of humanity, and the Axeman's tale remains one of the most compelling and unsettling in the annals of true crime history. It serves as a reminder of the fragility of safety and perhaps the fine line between fear and fascination in the stories we tell. In the quiet Bavarian countryside of Germany, not far from the small village of Weidhofen, lies a haunting tale etched into local folklore. It is a grim account known as the Hinterkaifeck Murders, an eerie and chilling unsolved case that took place in 1922. This story remains one of the most perplexing and chilling mysteries in German history, captivating the imagination of true crime aficionados and historians alike. The story begins in March 1922, when the Gruber family, consisting of Andreas Gruber, his wife Cecilia, their daughter Victoria, her partner and their 2 young children, lived on a modest farm called Hinterkaifeck. This secluded homestead was surrounded by dense woods, isolated from the nearest towns. Despite their rural charm, the family had recently experienced a series of unsettling incidents. Andreas had claimed to see footprints in the snow leading to their home, but not away from it. He discovered farm tools missing, and there were whispers of strange noises coming from the woods. This unrest would soon escalate into something far more sinister. On the night of March 31st, 1922, the Gruber family was brutally murdered in their home. The events that transpired remain shrouded in mystery, but the aftermath painted a horrifying picture. The family's bodies were discovered the following day, showing evidence of a gruesome attack. Each member of the family met their fate with gruesome violence, but remarkably, the livestock on the farm remained unharmed, suggesting that the killer was not a random intruder. Instead, it appeared that the murderer knew the family intimately. In the days that followed, local authorities launched a thorough investigation. However, they faced numerous obstacles. Witnesses reported strange happenings in and around the farm, including sightings of shadowy figures lurking in the woods. Speculations ran wild, but no concrete evidence emerged. The investigation revealed that the family had not only been killed, but their bodies had been moved, further complicating the inquiry. And as the days turned into weeks, frustration grew among the investigators, as well as the local community, who wanted answers. Notably, the murders occurred during a time when rumors of generational conflicts and familial passions simmered beneath the surface. Speculation about possible motives embedded themselves in community discourse. Some theorized that Victoria's relationship with her partner, who was not the father of her children, could have caused friction within the family. Others spoke of conflicts stemming from inheritance, jealousy, or even madness. Yet, every theory crumbled in the absence of tangible evidence. As investigators sifted through the evidence, the case grew colder. Despite extensive searches and interrogations, no clear suspect emerged. Many theories surfaced, ranging from local residents harboring grudges to more bizarre explanations involving the supernatural. The case seemed to delve into the realm of folklore, with whispered legends of ghosts and curses taking root among the townsfolk. Some even claimed that the farmhouse itself was haunted, a site of ominous energies that might have attracted heinous deeds. Decades later, the Hinterkaifeck murders remain unsolved, and the echo of that fateful night continues to haunt the annals of history. The farmhouse, which slowly fell into ruin, became a symbol of the mystery, serving as a macabre reminder of the lives cut short and the terror that gripped the community. Today, it exists largely as a ghost story, a dark chapter poking out from the otherwise serene Bavarian landscape. A search for answers continued for generations as amateur sleuths and armchair detectives took to the internet, poring over the scant scraps of evidence that remain. Discussions proliferate around possible suspects. Some have entertained theories that link famous serial killers or notorious criminals to the murders, while others have even suggested that the murderer may have been someone within the family, driven by deep-seated conflicts. These discussions resurrect the story in public consciousness, inspiring interest, documentaries, and even fictional representations. The Hinterkaifeck murders serve as a powerful reminder of the complexity of human relationships, the fragility of life, and the darkness that can dwell within communities. The fear and uncertainty that surrounded the mystery speak to our deepest concerns about safety in our homes. Was it the isolation that drove the family to tragedy? Or was it a deeply rooted malice that led to violence? As people ponder the unanswered questions, the case acts as a chilling illustration of how events in history can become entwined with legend and folklore. It encourages reflection on the nature of evil, how it can manifest in the unlikeliest of places and intertwine with tragedy. In a world filled with answers at our fingertips, the Hinterkaifeck murders remain an enigma, serving as a stark reminder that some questions may never be answered. Ultimately, the story continues to stir the imaginations of those who revisit it, casting a long shadow over Bavarian history and leaving an indelible mark on the landscape of unsolved mysteries that continue to bewilder and fascinate. The Taman Shud case is one of Australia's most enduring mysteries, capturing the imaginations of amateur sleuths and professional investigators alike since the discovery of an unidentified man on Somerton Beach in 1948. Located along the picturesque coastline of Adelaide, this beach became the backdrop for a perplexing story that has intrigued many for decades. The circumstances surrounding this case often evoke a mix of intrigue and bewilderment. Imagine a serene morning on Somerton Beach, with gentle waves lapping against the shore and the soft sound of seabirds calling in the distance. On December 1st, 1948, a passerby stumbled upon the lifeless body of a man lying on the sand, his appearance quite ordinary, yet his identity was anything but simple. The man was in his 30s, well-built, and dressed neatly in a suit. His demeanor, even in death, suggested an air of mystery. What makes this case particularly enigmatic are the details that emerged as authorities began their investigation. Notably, the man had no identification on him. In a time when personal identification was a standard, this absence raised immediate question. Authorities searched his clothing, hoping to find something that could shed light on his identity or the circumstances surrounding his death. When they checked his pockets, they discovered a scrap of paper with the words Tamám Shud printed on it. This Persian phrase translates to ended or finished, hinting that perhaps something significant had come to a conclusion. The scrap of paper was traced back to a copy of a book of poetry titled The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. The community became immersed in deciphering the significance of this book, its poetry, and how it connected with the unidentified man. The book, found in the glove compartment of a car parked nearby, contained a series of coded messages that only deepened the mystery. Some of these messages appeared to be a cipher that has never been definitively decrypted. Could these be part of a secret? Were they meant for someone else? Or were they simply the ramblings of a troubled mind? The investigation led authorities down numerous paths, but every turn seemed to yield more questions than answers. Who was this man? What had brought him to Somerton Beach? Was he a victim of foul play, or did he meet his end under other circumstances? As the search for answers continued, theories began to emerge. Over the years, numerous hypotheses have been proposed, each adding another layer to the enigma. One popular theory suggests that the man could have been a spy, perhaps connected to the turbulent political climate of the era following World War II. Australia was a landscape of shifting allegiances and espionage, making this theory not entirely far-fetched. Some believe the man might have been involved in a covert operation, gathering intelligence, or perhaps fleeing from something more sinister. Another compelling theory revolves around the idea of suicide. The cryptic clues and the manner of his death led some to postulate that the man had intentionally chosen to end his life. However, tangible evidence supporting this theory is lacking. How is it possible that someone who seemingly had no belongings or identification could have left such an intricate trail of clues? This notion adds to the complexity of the case and begs further questions. Decades have passed since that fateful day on Somerton Beach, and yet the man remains nameless. The allure of the Taman Shud case continues to grow, turning it into a popular subject for documentaries, podcasts, and scholarly studies. As modern technology advances, new methods such as DNA analysis have been employed in hopes of identifying the man. These endeavors have yet to yield results, but they highlight the continued effort to solve a mystery that has become a part of Australian folklore. Numerous amateur detectives have immersed themselves in this case, combing through police reports and historical documents in hopes of finding the hidden truth. Some have even sought out connections to the era's social and cultural dynamics. The case has sparked conversations around identity, the human experience, and the desperate need for answers when posed with the unknown. As researchers delve into every possible angle, new leads occasionally surface that momentarily ignite hope. Perhaps a key witness from the time or a family member with stories of loss might emerge. Yet, with every lead, there often comes a dead end. The case compels us to reflect on the topics of identity and existence, mingling the lines between reality and mystery. The Taman Shud case serves as a reminder of the complexities of human life and the stories that every individual carries with them, often contradicting the external narratives we attempt to construct. Sometimes the threads of a life can unravel in unexpected ways, leaving behind puzzles that remain unsolved. As the years continue to pass, the unidentified man at Somerton Beach persists as a haunting reminder that some mysteries may never truly be resolved. This case invites not only investigations, but also a contemplative exploration of life, identity, and the secrets we all carry within us. In 1957, a haunting mystery unfolded in Philadelphia that still lingers in the hearts and minds of many. It was a cold February day when a young boy's body was discovered in a cardboard box in a remote area of Fox Chase, a neighborhood in the city. The boy, who would come to be known as the boy in the box, was found by a passerby, and his tragic story began to capture the attention of the public. The boy was estimated to be around 4 to 6 years old, and the way he was found fueled a wave of curiosity and compassion. He was covered with bruises, indicating he suffered before his untimely death. What made the situation even more distressing was that the young boy remained unidentified, as no one came forward to claim him or shed light on the identity of this innocent child. The cardboard box that held such a grim secret was originally a box for a bassinet, and this detail added yet another painful layer to the narrative. It suggested that he may have belonged to a family, a belief that many hoped would lead to the ultimate revelation of his identity. Investigators and the community searched desperately for answers, conducting interviews and sifting through countless leads in an effort to uncover his name and the circumstances of his life. Efforts to identify the boy were extensive and heartfelt. Sketch artists created a rendering of what the boy might have looked like to see if someone could recognize him. The image spread throughout the media, sparking a nationwide interest in the case. Children's holiday gifts, local churches, and citizens of Philadelphia all joined in sending toys and donations to support the investigation, showing the profound impact the boy's death had on the community. The case garnered attention from newspapers and television, with articles and broadcasts featuring the boy's likeness. The locals were especially moved, and there were organized initiatives to raise awareness, reaching out to anyone who might have relevant information. This collective determination to honor the boy and seek justice for him became a driving force in the case. Despite these efforts, as days turned into weeks and then months, there was still no breakthrough. The mystery began to solidify, leading to speculation and theories about the boy's past. Some believed he may have been a victim of abuse or neglect, while others speculated about the involvement of a mysterious figure, perhaps someone trying to hide their actions. Each new theory seemed to add to the urgency for answers, but ultimately led to more questions. Over the years, various individuals came forward, claiming to be related to the boy or to have knowledge concerning his situation. However, none of these claims held up under scrutiny, adding additional frustration to an already heartbreaking scenario. The police held on to hope that DNA technology might one day provide the answers they sought. Decades later, advancements in forensic science revived interest in the case, and investigators began using genealogy databases in hopes of finally giving the boy a name. In the quest for closure, the case also became a reminder that many similar tragedies remain unsolved. The boy in the box represents a larger issue of children who are lost, abused, or abandoned, serving as a grim reminder that there are countless others who vanish from our view. His story has become an emblem of innocence lost, showcasing the vulnerability of children who are not able to protect themselves. This mystery sparked discussions about child welfare and the importance of protecting young lives. Various groups dedicated to child advocacy have used the case to shed light on the significance of reporting suspected abuse and ensuring that children have a safe environment to grow up in. The legacy of the boy's story lives on, showing how a single event can ripple outwards and inspire change beyond its immediate consequences. The story of the boy in the box serves as a tragic reminder of loss and the importance of fighting for the voiceless. He captured the hearts of many people who wished to see him honored and remembered. Over the years, memorials have been held, updates have emerged in the media, and countless people have shared in the hope that one day justice will be served and his name, once unknown, will finally be spoken. Although decades have passed, this heartbreaking case endures. The boy in the box remains a poignant symbol of innocence and loss, a reminder of the vulnerable lives that deserve recognition and remembrance. The search for the truth continues, inviting each generation to reflect on the young ones among us and the responsibility we hold to nurture, protect, and advocate for those who cannot speak for themselves. In 1982, a series of tragic events unfolded in the United States. This was the year that the Tylenol Murders captured the nation's attention and triggered a wave of fear and uncertainty. The incidents began in the Chicago area when multiple individuals ingested Tylenol, a widely used over-the-counter pain reliever, and subsequently died. What made these occurrences particularly alarming was the realization that the Tylenol capsules had been tampered with. Instead of merely treating headaches or other discomforts, they contained lethal doses of cyanide. The first victim was a young woman named Mary Kellerman. She took extra-strength Tylenol to alleviate a cold, unaware that it had been laced with poison. Over the next few days, 6 more people fell victim to this horrific act, including a 27-year-old man and a 12-year-old girl. As more victims were identified, panic spread rapidly through the community and beyond, as people became wary of a product that was previously considered safe and reliable. In a time when household names were being called into question, the response from authorities was swift. The FBI and local law enforcement agencies launched extensive investigations, delving into the backgrounds of the victims and examining the potential motives behind this unprecedented tampering. As they sifted through the chaos, the quest for answers was both urgent and challenging. The culprits behind these poisonings were elusive, and investigators had few leads to follow. With the public in a state of alarm, major media outlets covered the story extensively, keeping the nation informed on the investigation's progress. The news not only reported on the victims' stories, but also explored the implications of these events. Could something similar happen again? Questions arose regarding the safety of other medications, and families began reassessing their own medicine cabinets. During this turbulent time, Johnson & Johnson, the maker of Tylenol, faced the crisis with remarkable transparency and responsiveness. Immediately after learning about the incidents, company officials took decisive action. They issued a nationwide recall of Tylenol products, removing millions of bottles from store shelves. Their priority was to protect the public and earn back consumer trust. This kind of proactive measure was unusual at that time and set a precedent in the corporate world for handling crises. The media coverage and public concern also led to a significant shift in how medications were packaged. As a direct result of the Tylenol murders, federal regulations regarding over-the-counter medicines underwent dramatic changes. Safety seals and tamper-evident packaging became standard requirements for pharmaceutical products. This transformation was designed to restore trust in consumables and ensure that consumers could feel confident in the safety of the products they were using. Legal and regulatory actions followed, with policymakers recognizing the need for stricter safety measures. The U.S. Congress initiated hearings to address consumer safety and manufacturers' responsibilities. These discussions catalyzed the development of laws aimed at ensuring the public's health was placed at the forefront of the pharmaceutical industry. In the years following the tragedies, the impact of the Tylenol murders echoed through various sectors. Manufacturers began investing significantly in product security and public safety campaigns. Drug companies worked to reassure consumers that their products were both safe and effective, while also being vigilant in their quality control practices. Trust, once lost, required a united front to rebuild, and the industry knew they had to step up. As time passed, the Tylenol murders remained a stark reminder of the potential hazards that can exist in everyday life. Even after decades, the events left an imprint on the fabric of American society. Although no one was ever convicted of the crimes, the mystery surrounding the poisonings lingered like a ghost, sparking conspiracy theories and speculation about who could have committed such acts. Moreover, the remaining victims' families continued to advocate for improved safety measures while honoring the memories of their loved ones. Their resilience was a testament to the human spirit in the face of adversity, as they sought justice not only for themselves, but for the broader community that had been affected by such violence. The Tylenol murders changed not only the regulatory landscape, but also how consumers approached medication. People became more vigilant and began to read labels and look for safety seals before purchasing over-the-counter drugs. Awareness of tampering risks shifted the expectations of manufacturers and consumers alike, ensuring that safety remained a priority for both producers and users. In conclusion, the events of 1982 surrounding the Tylenol murders are engraved in the annals of American history, not merely as a series of tragedies, but as a turning point that transformed safety standards and public perception regarding medicinal products. The lessons learned resonated through decades, reinforcing the importance of consumer safety in an ever-evolving marketplace, and ensuring that the legacy of those impacted continues to influence how we think about and approach healthcare today. In 1970, a chilling mystery captivated the small town of Bergen, Norway. A woman was discovered lifeless in a remote area known as Isdal Valley, a place that seemed to keep secrets of its own. Her identity was shrouded in ambiguity, leading investigators on a complex journey unraveling the threads of her past. The case of the Isdal woman begins with a hiker who stumbled upon her body, lying amidst the rugged terrain, surrounded by a smattering of personal belongings. The investigators' attention was immediately drawn to the circumstances surrounding her death, which appeared to be the result of foul play or tragic misadventure. However, the more they delved into her life, the more perplexing it became. The woman had no formal identification on her. Any documents that could reveal her identity had been meticulously destroyed. She was wearing a stylish outfit, suggesting she was accustomed to fashion, yet nothing tied her to a specific origin. The absence of personal history made her situation all the more haunting. What life had this woman led before her fateful end? As authorities conducted a thorough examination of the scene, they uncovered several items that hinted at her enigmatic lifestyle. Among her possessions were multiple passports, each bearing different names. The aliases were a puzzling aspect of her story. Who was she really? Was she evading someone, or perhaps starting anew? The different names pointed to a life that spanned multiple countries, each identity cloaked in its own veil of mystery. Witnesses began to come forward, claiming they had seen the woman in the days leading up to her death. Travelers and locals alike recalled encounters with her. Descriptions varied, but there was a common theme. She was an alluring presence with a mysterious aura. Some said she spoke several languages fluently, while others remarked on her charm and grace. Yet, these interactions offered little substance to identify her. The investigation gathered momentum as authorities pieced together the scant details. Within her belongings, police found a diary filled with cryptic symbols and notes written in several languages. The contents were indecipherable, suggesting that she had been living a life on the run, adopting clandestine behaviors typical of someone who had something to hide. Additionally, her travels across Europe became a focal point of the inquiry. The Isdal woman had been seen in various cities, from Paris to Frankfurt, where her trail faded and re-emerged unexpectedly. Fragments of her journey suggested a narrative of adventure, but also a sense of danger that clung to her presence like a shadow. Her repeated appearances at hotels, registered under different names, raised further suspicion. What had she been escaping? Or was she chasing something elusive? As the case drew media attention, it sparked public fascination, leading amateur sleuths and armchair detectives to pursue their theories. Numerous speculations erupted, ranging from the idea that she was a spy in deep cover to the notion that she could have ties to criminal enterprises. Each theory introduced new angles to the story, but ultimately left the core questions unanswered. A forensic autopsy was carried out on the Isdal woman, and while it revealed traces of a toxic substance in her system, the cause of death remained ambiguous. The findings led some to suspect suicide, while others theorized she had been murdered, possibly by those who had shared in her secrets. The toxic substance was a mystery in itself, raising questions about whether she had ingested it willingly or if it had been administered against her will. The enduring mystery of the Isdal woman invited countless theories, but no one was ever able to piece together the tapestry of her life. Each lead seemed to fizzle out, resulting in more dead ends than answers. Various organizations invested time and resources into her case, hoping to provide closure. Yet the woman with many names remained conspicuously absent from the narrative of her own existence. As time elapsed, public interest waned, but the case was never forgotten. The Isdal woman became a symbol of unsolved enigmas, a reminder that not all stories conclude with clear resolutions. The valley that held her remains continued to witness the whispers of her tale, becoming a place where people ponder the inexplicable mysteries of life and death, identity, and what drives a person into anonymity. This case exemplifies a broader theme of exploration into the unknown. It poses questions about identity, belonging, and the very essence of who we are in a world filled with connections and divisions. The Isdal woman, a figure who slipped through the cracks of society, serves as a poignant reminder of how easily someone can vanish and the life stories that go untold, lost in the folds of time and mystery. As the years have gone by, the Isdal woman remained an unanswered question, a haunting story that lingers in the back of many minds. Who was she, truly, and what led her to that desolate place? The echoes of her existence continue to ripple through the realms of speculation and curiosity, casting a shadow on the certainty of our identities and the stories we leave behind. The Green River Killer is one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. His real name is Gary Ridgway, a name that strikes fear and curiosity in the hearts of many. Known for his shocking confession to the murders of numerous women during the 1980s and 1990s, Ridgway's story serves as a chilling reminder of the dark side of humanity and the complexities surrounding criminal investigations. Gary Ridgway lived in Washington State, an area that witnessed a series of tragic disappearances of young women. Many of these were vulnerable individuals, often involved in prostitution or struggling with addiction. Between 1982 and 1998, Ridgway preyed on these women, luring them with the promise of work or companionship. He confessed to murdering at least 49 women, although investigators believe the actual number may be much higher. This makes him one of the most prolific serial killers in U.S. history. Ridgway's methods were particularly horrifying. He would often take his victims to desolate locations, and after committing his gruesome acts, he would dispose of them in the Green River or nearby wooded areas. It is from this river that he earned his nickname. The discovery of multiple bodies in this area led to a lengthy investigation that captivated the nation and left many families in despair over the fate of their loved ones. The investigation into the Green River Killer became one of the most extensive in the history of criminal law enforcement. Countless hours of surveillance, interviews, and forensic work were dedicated to solving the mystery surrounding the disappearances. In the early years, law enforcement struggled to connect the dots, with various leads leading to dead ends. The case remained unsolved for years, causing immense heartache for families who were left longing for answers. In the 1990s, advancements in DNA technology began to change the landscape of criminal investigation. Law enforcement was able to gather critical evidence and establish links between Ridgway and the murders. In 2001, the culmination of efforts finally led to his arrest. An extensive manhunt and investigative efforts ultimately bore fruit when they apprehended Ridgway based on DNA evidence found at crime scenes. What makes Ridgway's confession particularly unsettling is his demeanor during police interviews. He appeared calm and unyielding as he recounted the details of his horrific acts. In some accounts, he expressed a chilling indifference to the pain he had inflicted on so many lives. His strategy, often described as manipulative, allowed him to evade capture for long periods and kept authorities chasing false leads. During his confession, Ridgway admitted that he did not think of his victims as individuals, but rather as objects. This dehumanization underlined a disturbing aspect of his character that has left many puzzled and horrified. Each victim was treated with a callous disregard, reflecting a complete absence of empathy. The emotional toll on the families of the victims is immeasurable, as they continue to seek closure for lost loved ones. Despite Ridgway's eventual confession, not all victims have been identified. Some families remain in limbo, grappling with uncertainty and the haunting possibility of never knowing what happened to their daughters, sisters, or friends. For the unidentified victims, the quest for justice stands incomplete. Furthermore, the case raises broader questions about societal issues, such as the treatment of vulnerable populations and the importance of effective policing. The impact of Ridgway's actions extends beyond the families directly affected. The Green River Killer case serves as a powerful reminder of the need for empathy towards marginalized individuals and the continuous effort required to protect those who find themselves in precarious situations. It also highlights the evolution of forensic science in solving cold cases, showing how technology can bring long overdue justice. Even with the resolution of Ridgway's case, the shadow of his crimes lingers in the community. The Green River remains a symbolic location for both tragedy and resilience. Memorials and community events focus on honoring the lives lost and advocating for the safety of vulnerable populations. Through these efforts, voices are raised in remembrance, stressing the importance of ensuring that such horrors never occur again. Gary Ridgway was sentenced to life in prison, allowing some measure of justice for the families affected by his heinous action. However, the story of the Green River Killer remains one that commands attention, as it explores the intersection of crime, psychology, and the enduring quest for truth. The fates of some victims may remain unknown, but their stories serve as a collective reminder of the importance of compassion, vigilance, and advocacy in the face of darkness. As we reflect on this complex case, we are reminded that the pursuit of justice is not merely about apprehending criminals, but also about healing the wounds left behind in the wake of unspeakable acts. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the relentless fight for truth in a world where shadows sometimes creep too close. As we remember the names of the victims, we also acknowledge the continuing responsibility of society to protect its most vulnerable members. In the early 1930s, a chilling series of events unfolded in Cleveland, Ohio, capturing the attention of both residents and law enforcement. Known as the Cleveland Torso Murders, this string of gruesome killings left the city shrouded in fear and mystery. The murders began in 1935 and continued into the following years, with victims found dismembered and unidentifiable. The sheer brutality of the crimes and the anonymity of the perpetrator created a grim and lasting legacy. It all began in September of 1935, when the dismembered torso of a man was discovered near the shores of Lake Erie. The body was stripped of its limbs, head, and most identifying features. The gruesome finding sent shockwaves through the community as local authorities were faced with an unexpected horror that they had not previously encountered. This was only the beginning, and little did they know that more shocking discoveries lay ahead. As investigations intensified, more dismembered bodies emerged. Each grisly discovery seemed to resemble the last. Victims were often found missing limbs, and some were so severely mutilated that identification was nearly impossible. The police were left with a challenging puzzle to piece together. They launched extensive searches for evidence, hoping to track down clues that would lead them to the killer. However, it became increasingly apparent that they were up against an elusive and cunning adversary. The lack of important details regarding the victims presented a formidable challenge. Many had lived on the fringes of society, and their disappearances often went unnoticed for days or even weeks. As the body count rose, the media became enthralled by the horror of the murders, sensationalizing each new revelation. Newspapers published headlines that captured the weathered city's collective dread, drawing in both readers and investigators alike. Grim discoveries continued to surface in and around Cleveland. The remains of victims were scattered across different locations, including vacant lots and backyards. One of the most notorious locations became known as the Kinsman Road Dump, where multiple torsos were discovered. Each time the authorities stumbled upon another victim, the feeling of paranoia grew. The killer was still at large, taunting law enforcement and striking fear into the heart of the community. The investigation became a heinous game of cat and mouse, as authorities attempted to make sense of the chaos. Detectives interviewed countless individuals, probing the lives of the chosen victims. Each conversation appeared to lead nowhere, with very few solid leads arising from the depths of despair. During this time, the concept of a serial killer was not yet fully understood, leaving those on the case grappling with their own theories on the motives behind such violence. The Cleveland Torso Murders attracted the interest of the nation, drawing attention to the struggles of law enforcement in an era plagued by crime. Theories about the identity of the killer swirled around the city as many pointed fingers toward various local suspects. Some speculated about organized crime, while others turned their attention to known criminals in the area. In the absence of solid evidence, the community was left with only fear and speculation. As time went on, the sweeping fear began to fade from the forefront of the city's consciousness. Several years later, in the midst of heightened tension, the investigation remained unsolved, frustrating both the police and the public. While the killer's motives and identity were enigmatic, the impact of the murders left a stark mark on Cleveland. The dismembered bodies were no longer being found, but the dark shadow of the unsolved cases lingered on, serving as a severe reminder of the horror that had unfolded. The gruesome nature of these killings sparked interest in the field of criminology and criminal profiling. In many ways, the Cleveland Torso Murders allowed society to begin examining the complex behaviors of serial offenders. The toll on the community was immense, creating an environment filled with unease and expectation. In the absence of closure, the people of Cleveland were forced to confront their own vulnerabilities in an unsuspecting world. As we reflect on these events today, the Cleveland Torso Murders are no longer simply narratives of horror. They have evolved into case studies, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and films that explore the depths of human behavior and the capacity for violence. This tragic chapter in the city's history remains a part of popular culture, a testament to the mystery that humanity is often drawn to unravel. Despite decades of speculation and a continuous quest for answers, the Cleveland Torso Murders remain officially unsolved. The killer may have evaded justice, but the memory of this terrifying series of events endure. For those who seek to understand the minds of the most twisted individuals, this case serves as a haunting exploration of the darkness that can reside within. The unsolved nature of the murders continues to compel and terrify, highlighting a bygone era teeming with secrets waiting to be unveiled. On February 28, 1986, the streets of Stockholm were filled with the sounds of a city going about its usual business. However, the life of Sweden's Prime Minister, Olof Palme, was about to take a tragic turn that would forever leave an indelible mark on the nation's history. That evening, Palme and his wife, Lisbeth, were returning home from a trip to the cinema. Little did they know that as they walked hand in hand along Sveavägen, they were about to be confronted by an unknown assailant. As they neared their home, a sudden confrontation occurred. Olof Palme was shot in the back. The situation was alarming, both for Lisbeth, who witnessed the event, and for the citizens who were nearby. In an instant, a father, a leader, and a prominent figure in Swedish politics was struck down, leaving the nation in shock and mourning. Witness accounts vary, but numerous people reported hearing gunshots and a commotion near the site of the attack, yet the assailant vanished into the night, leaving behind confusion and fear. Olof Palme was not just any politician. He was a leader known for his strong stance against the Vietnam War, his advocacy for social justice, and his commitment to creating a more equitable society in Sweden. His vision led to significant reforms, such as advancements in healthcare and education, making him a beloved figure among many Swedes. The news of his assassination sent shockwaves throughout the country and the world. The question on everyone's mind was, who could have committed such a heinous act against a man who dedicated his life to serving the people? In the days and weeks that followed, investigations were launched, drawing in police and detectives from various fields. Numerous leads were pursued, ranging from radical political groups to personal vendettas. Speculation ran rampant as various theories began to emerge surrounding the motives behind the assassination. Some believed it was a politically charged attack that highlighted the tension of the era, while others pointed towards personal motivations fueled by anger or resentment. Throughout the years, various suspects were named and interrogated. Several theories took shape, suggesting possible connections to foreign governments, criminal organizations, and even domestic terrorism. Major public figures, such as prominent journalists and historians, often debated the possibilities during interviews. Yet, no definitive answers emerged. As the years passed, the case took on a life of its own, entering the realm of folklore and urban legend. The investigation faced many challenges. Witnesses often had conflicting accounts of the events that transpired that fateful night. Key physical evidence was lost, and as time went on, the trail began to grow cold. Some of the most intricate and promising leads faded away as witnesses either grew tired of reliving the tragedy or eventually passed away. The longer it took to find concrete answers, the more palpable the sense of frustration became among both the authorities and the public. Despite the lack of conclusive evidence, new leads continued to pop up sporadically over the decades. In 1996, a man came forward claiming to have information about the assassination, and while investigators breathed new life into the case, doubts around the reliability of his claims persisted. The years rolled on, and with each passing anniversary of the assassination, the hope for clarity seemed to diminish. In 2018, the police announced they were focusing on a new suspect, a man who had died in 2000, suggesting that he had finally been identified as a potential assassin. The theory suggested links between the suspect and the crime scene. However, once again, skepticism arose, and many questions lingered. The inability to effectively resolve the case only heightened interest in the Palme assassination, turning it into a rich tapestry of conspiracy theories. In Sweden today, Olof Palme's legacy persists in various ways. He remains an influential figure whose ideas and vision for peace and equality resonate with many of his countrymen. Across Sweden, discussions around politics, justice, and changing societal values often reflect back on his time in office. Yet, the mystery surrounding his murder continues to loom large, captivating historians, journalists, and everyday citizens alike. Documentaries, books, and films have been created, exploring the twists and turns of the investigation. Each piece of media serves to keep the conversation alive, drawing in new generations who are eager to unravel the intricate details of the case. Olof Palme's assassination is more than just a cold case. It has become an enduring symbol of unresolved tragedy that serves as a reminder of the fragility of leadership and the unpredictable nature of life. As decades have passed, the unresolved nature of Olof Palme's assassination fuels ongoing fascination, imbuing the case with a sense of urgency and intrigue. Questions hang in the air like fog over the streets of Stockholm. Who was the assailant? What motivated the attack? Will the truth ever be uncovered? While some facts remain obscured, the search for answers continues, a testament to the enduring human spirit and our relentless pursuit of justice and truth, even in the face of uncertainty. As people continue to ponder this complex case, it reflects a deeper truth about our society. The stories we share about our leaders, the challenges they face, and the legacies they leave behind are the narratives that shape our culture and our future. Olof Palme's assassination, with its layers of complexity, is a narrative that remains a part of Sweden's history, forever compelling the hearts and minds of those who seek to understand the world around them. The Bermuda Triangle, often referred to as the Devil's Triangle, occupies a distinct and infamous region in the North Atlantic Ocean. It is bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, and within this triangular space lies a long history of unusual events and mysterious disappearances, capturing the imaginations of adventurers, sailors, and fellow travelers. This area has become synonymous with stories of lost vessels and vanished aircraft, giving rise to speculation, theories, and folklore that have intrigued many for decades. Among the numerous incidents, one of the most notable is the mysterious disappearance of Flight 19. This flight consisted of 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers on a routine training mission in December 1945. As they took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, they faced an unexpected series of navigational challenges. The flight's commander, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, reported that his compasses were malfunctioning, leading the crew to become disoriented. Despite repeated attempts by the U.S. Navy to locate the lost aircraft, a search operation was launched that turned out to be fruitless. Additionally, another rescue plane dispatched to find the men also vanished, adding to the enigma. Another incident that baffles researchers is the disappearance of the USS Cyclops, a Navy cargo ship. In March 1918, the Cyclops set sail from Barbados, heading toward Baltimore, carrying a cargo of manganese ore and over 300 men. Following the last report of the ship's position, it simply vanished without a trace. The Cyclops had no distress signals or explanations for its disappearance. The ship was presumed to have encountered severe weather conditions, but no wreckage was ever discovered, deepening the mystery surrounding its fate. With many incidents centering on questions of navigation and human error, researchers have highlighted the unusual magnetic anomalies reported in the Bermuda Triangle. These anomalies are said to affect navigational instruments, leading some mariners and aviators to question the reliability of their compasses as they traverse this vastly unpredictable region. The concept of magnetic variations has raised eyebrows and theories, suggesting that they create confusion for pilots and sailors trying to navigate through the area. In addition to the human elements, the Bermuda Triangle is also known for its unique environmental features. The underwater topography includes deep-sea trenches and underwater volcanoes, which carry the potential for sudden and violent storms that could catch even the most seasoned mariners off guard. These storms can form rapidly, causing turbulent waves and high winds that can be tremendously destructive to vessels. One cannot discuss the Bermuda Triangle without mentioning the infamous legend of the ghost fleet of tropical waters. Over the years, there have been reports of ghost ships sighted drifting in the waters, often deserted and eerily silent. These vessels, sometimes said to emit a mysterious glow or contain eerie sounds, add a haunting element to the region's mysterious reputation. The stories of these ghostly apparitions have only fueled the fascination surrounding the Bermuda Triangle. More contemporary analyses have sought to demystify the region and its peculiarities. Many explanations have been put forward, ranging from natural weather phenomena such as rogue waves to human error, and even elaborate hoaxes. Some experts argue that the number of incidents is not disproportionately high compared to other heavily trafficked areas around the world. They suggest that the frequency of unusual events has been amplified by sensationalized accounts and popular culture representations of the Bermuda Triangle. As exploration continues, the allure of the Bermuda Triangle remains ever present. Many adventurers are drawn to the enigmatic waters, seeking to uncover the secrets that lie beneath the surface. Dive trips reveal stunning marine life and shipwrecks, while simultaneously keeping legends alive. As technology advances, researchers are uncovering more about the environmental factors that make this area unique, allowing for new narratives to evolve surrounding its mythology. Despite the myriad investigations and scientific explanations that have emerged over the years, the Bermuda Triangle maintains its status as one of the most captivating mysteries on Earth. Stories of lost ships, courage in the face of the unknown, and a profound human thirst for adventure contribute to this iconic locale. It serves as a reminder of nature's immense power and the bravery of those who have traversed its depths in pursuit of exploration. As we ponder the incidents connected to the Bermuda Triangle, it reminds us that there is still much to learn about our world's oceans and the secrets they hold. Whether attributed to human error, environmental factors, or the unexplained, the legend of the Bermuda Triangle continues to inspire new generations, fueling imagination and curiosity with every tale passed down. In this whirlwind of stories, both thrilling and chilling, the Bermuda Triangle endures as a significant and thought-provoking chapter in maritime history. In the small town of Villisca, Iowa, a chilling chapter in American history unfolded during the summer of 1912. On the night of June 9th, an entire family, the Moores, along with 2 overnight guests, fell victim to a brutal crime that would disturb the community for generations and leave numerous questions unanswered. The murders occurred in the Moore family home, a modest structure located at 508 East 2nd Street. The Moores, consisting of parents Josiah and Sarah Moore and their 4 children, were well-liked and active members of the community. That night, the family had invited 2 young friends, Lena and Ina Stillinger, for an overnight stay. The house, like so many in the area, was filled with the comforting sounds of childhood laughter and the warmth of familial bonds. Tragically, this warmth would soon turn into an unthinkable scene of horror. As the sun rose on June 10th, the normal sounds of the morning were absent. Concerned neighbors, who expected to see the Moores starting their day, grew anxious as the hours passed without a sighting of the family. When they finally were able to enter the home, they discovered a massacre that shocked them to their very core. The bodies of Josiah and Sarah, their children, and the 2 girls were scattered throughout the house, each victim subjected to a violent and senseless death. The weapon that delivered this horrific fate was an axe which belonged to the Moore family themselves. Investigators quickly determined that the assailant had entered the house through an unlocked door and proceeded to carry out the gruesome act with a ferocity that left no doubt about the brutality of the crime. Each victim had received multiple wounds, indicating a frenzied attack that defied comprehension. It was clear that this was not an ordinary burglary gone wrong. It was a calculated and horrific act of violence. As word spread throughout Villisca and beyond, the story captured the attention of the nation. Newspapers ran sensational headlines detailing the grisly event, and soon the small town was flooded with curiosity seekers, journalists, and members of the law enforcement community hoping to unravel the mystery. The investigation was hampered by a lack of forensic technology, which made it challenging to piece together the events of that fateful night. Despite numerous leads and a myriad of theories, the authorities struggled to find any solid evidence that might lead to a suspect. In the days following the murders, a range of suspects emerged, from local townsfolk to transient workers passing through the town. Villisca was host to a wavering collection of rumors and accusations, as people tried to make sense of the horrific crime. Some believed that the killer might have been a stranger, passing through under the cover of darkness, while others speculated that it was an act of revenge, or perhaps a serial killer targeting unsuspecting families. One prominent suspect was a traveling preacher named P.M. Johnson, who was in town at the time. His demeanor raised eyebrows, and he fit the profile of a possible perpetrator. However, the evidence against him was circumstantial at best, and he was eventually cleared of involvement. Other suspects were similarly scrutinized, but each lead seemed to fade into nothingness. The community was left grappling with fear and uncertainty, as families began to wonder if they were safe in their own home. The haunting memory of the Moores lingered in the air, and whispers filled the streets of Villisca long after the initial shock had worn off. Investigators were relentless, but as time passed, without any new leads, the case began to cool, much to the frustration of those who wanted justice for the slain family. As years turned into decades, the Villisca Axe Murders became a part of local folklore, a story passed down through generations. The house where the murders took place eventually became a tourist attraction, drawing visitors from across the country who were intrigued by the stories of the past. Some came seeking the thrill of ghostly legends, while others simply wanted to pay their respects to a family that met such a tragic end. Over the years, various theories continued to emerge, with some individuals even claiming to have knowledge of the true identity of the murderer. In a time before modern technologies, speculation filled the void left by the lack of concrete answers. Ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts took interest in the story, with many believing that the spirits of the Moors linger in the home, seeking peace that eluded them in life. Today, the Villisca Axe Murders remain one of the most notorious unsolved mysteries in American history. The story speaks to a time when life seemed simpler, yet when darkness could descend in the quiet of the night. Every detail of that tragic night continues to accompany the place where laughter once echoed, leaving an indelible mark on the community and those who still visit today. The haunting questions still echo. Who could have committed such an atrocious act, and why did they choose this innocent family? While the evidence has grown colder with time, the story of the Villisca Axe Murders continues to captivate the imagination. It serves as a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the shadows that sometimes dwell, even in the most peaceful of places. The house remains a silent witness to history, shrouded in mystery, forever holding the secrets of its past. Maura Murray was a college student whose life took an unexpected turn in 2004, when she disappeared under circumstances that continue to mystify investigators and true crime enthusiasts alike. She was a 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and on February 9, 2004, she packed her belongings and left her campus. It was a decision that no one could have anticipated, and little did anyone know. Her journey was about to take a dramatic turn. On that February day, Maura pointed her car north toward New Hampshire, a destination that was later described as a place she had no particular connection to. She had informed her professors that she was taking a week off to deal with a family crisis, though some reports indicated that she may not have been entirely honest. With her emotional state called into question by friends and family, Maura's decision to travel alone raised eyebrows. As she drove towards the White Mountains, Maura's car, a 1996 Saturn, was found the following day, crashed into a snowbank along Route 112 in the small town of Haverhill. The accident wasn't severe. However, Maura was nowhere to be found. The initial response from the local police brought into focus the many factors at play. A search began immediately, encompassing various strategies and bringing in local residents and explorers familiar with the rugged terrain. As investigators pursued leads, it quickly became apparent that Maura was not only missing, she had seemingly vanished without a trace. The search focused on the area surrounding the crash site, which included dense woods and cold, unforgiving terrain. Several searches took place in the days following her disappearance, utilizing dogs and advanced technology, yet the dense forests yielded no clues. During the investigation into her disappearance, numerous theories emerged. Some believed that she had gone into the woods to seek solace, overwhelmed by personal pressures and academic challenges. Others speculated about foul play, suggesting she might have encountered someone who had nefarious intentions. Yet, with no solid evidence supporting any specific theory, her case became a mystery that left many people puzzled. Parallel to these investigations, personal accounts began to circulate. Friends and relatives recalled Maura as a bright, ambitious young woman who had a bright future ahead. However, they also revealed that she seemed to be struggling with several aspects of her life, including stress from her studies and personal relationships. The juxtaposition of her personality created a complex image, leaving many to wonder if something deeper lurked beneath her surface. As the years passed, the story of Maura Murray caught the attention of the media and various true crime platforms. Documentaries and podcasts dedicated to her incredibly puzzling disappearance provided a platform for discussion and speculation. Each episode and narrative deepened the intrigue, engaging audiences with the emotions surrounding the unknown. Listeners were drawn into her story, grappling with not just the mystery of her fate, but the broader implications of what it means for someone to simply vanish. In the wake of her disappearance, search efforts remained active for years, but with limited results. Friends and fellow students also began to participate in efforts to keep her story alive, creating support groups and attending vigils. The mystery of Maura's case resonated with individuals from all walks of life, each person brought into her world, pondering what may have happened to her during those fateful days in New Hampshire. Several leads sprouted over the years, including potential sightings and unconfirmed reports, but nothing proved to be conclusive. Investigators explored various avenues, looking into connection points with nearby missing persons cases, local activity, and even considering the possibility of her having made a new life somewhere else. Each lead was another piece of the puzzle that always seemed out of reach, continuing to elude resolution. As this complex case unfolded, the internet also played a crucial role in evolving the narrative and maintaining public interest. Online forums and social media groups emerged, dedicated to discussing every detail of Maura's life and the events surrounding her disappearance. These digital communities became passionate about piecing together the hints and clues, keeping Maura's name and story alive in the minds of people across the world. Despite the overwhelming attention and passion surrounding her case, the passage of time often led to speculation and rumor. The various theories ranged from tragic scenarios to hopeful possibilities, each encapsulating aspects of human nature and our collective quest for answers. The discussion served not only as a reflection on her life, but also on the myriad factors influencing someone in distress, illustrating the complexity of mental health, personal relationships, and the pressures of collegiate life. Maura Murray's disappearance remains one of the most famous cold cases in the United States, captivating many with its unique blend of potential and tragedy. As mysterious as the day she went missing, her story prompts countless questions about what could have happened and who she might have become. The unresolved nature of her fate serves as a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of reaching out to those who may be struggling, capturing the imagination of those who continue to search for closure, not just for Maura, but for the broader implications of her story that resonates deeply with many. Her case has left an indelible mark on those who hear it, encouraging awareness and compassion in a world where understanding can be a lifeline. The Taman Shud case, also known as the Somerton Man mystery, is one of the most perplexing unsolved cases in Australian history. It all began in December 1948, when an unidentified man was found, deceased, on Somerton Beach near Adelaide. The discovery raised countless questions and sparked intense speculation that still endures today. The man was well dressed, wearing a suit and tie, and had no identification on him. Strangely, all labels had been removed from his clothing, further complicating efforts to determine who he was. Investigators initially thought he might be a victim of foul play, but no evidence suggested a struggle or violence. What set this case apart from other unsolved mysteries is what investigators found in the man's pocket. A small piece of paper, or rather, a slip of paper, that bore the words, Tamám Shud. This phrase, meaning ended or finished in Persian, seemed to offer a tantalizing clue, yet it only deepened the enigma surrounding the man's identity and fate. A further search led authorities to a small book, a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, which had been discarded in a nearby car. The book had a code on the back that contained a series of letters and numbers. Cracking this code became a quest for both amateur and professional cryptographers. Despite numerous attempts, no one has conclusively deciphered the message. The Rubaiyat, an ancient collection of poetry known for its philosophical reflections on life and existence, added to the enigmatic nature of the case. Some theorize that the man had connections to espionage, as the 1940s was a time rife with geopolitical intrigue, especially given the post-World War II climate. Speculations about spies and secret codes filled the air, drawing in amateur detectives and conspiracy theorists alike. As investigators dug deeper, they discovered that the unidentified man had a distinctive appearance that included a strong jawline and a relaxed demeanor. Artists even rendered portraits based on the coroner's investigations, contributing to the narrative of the mysterious figure lost to history. Witnesses even came forward, claiming to have seen the man shortly before his death, adding to the odd circumstances surrounding the case. Theories about his identity surfaced over the years. Some proposed that he could have been a British citizen or a European refugee, given the historical context of the time. Others speculated he might have been an American serviceman or a traveler on a forgotten journey. One theory suggested he could have been living a double life, perhaps involved in activities that necessitated anonymity. In the years following, various families came forward believing that he might be a long-lost relative or a missing person from the 1940s. Scientists explored the biological remains, establishing that he was likely in his 40s at the time of his death and had Mediterranean ancestry. Despite advances in forensic science, the mystery of his identity remained unsolved, provoking renewed interest with advancements in DNA technology. The case has inspired films, books, and documentaries that grapple with its many facets. Writers and filmmakers have explored the various scenarios, interviewing experts in different fields, from cryptography to anthropology. Enthusiasts have also created online forums dedicated to discussing the perplexities of the case, sharing theories and weaving intricate narratives that span decades. In recent years, new forensic techniques have sparked hopes that justice might still be served. Cold cases can be revisited using advanced DNA testing, and with each passing year, the technological panorama broadens the possibilities for identification. While some believe that the man was a victim of a tragic accident, others cling to the notion of espionage, convinced that the truth remains obscured within the veil of history. The story of the Somerton man is not merely one of a body found on the beach. It reflects on the human condition, the desire to discover identity, the need for closure, and the understanding that not all stories unfold in tidy resolutions. This mystery beckons us to ponder the complexities of life, loss, and the narratives that shape our lives far beyond a single death. While the name of this enigmatic individual may never be known, the fascination with his story fuels the imagination, encouraging many to join in the relentless quest for answers. Perhaps in pursuing this case, we reflect on our own quests for meaning, identity, and connection, a reminder that beneath the surface of reality lies a depth of understanding yet to be discovered. In this sense, the Tamam Shud case endures not merely as an unsolved mystery, but as a symbol of the persistent inquiries we engage with about existence itself. It encourages us to explore our own narratives, the stories shared and forgotten, wrapped in the enigma of life's intricate tapestry. In the 1970s, New York State was the backdrop for a chilling series of child murders that would grip the attention of the nation. Known as the Alphabet Murders, this case involved the tragic deaths of 3 young children, each sharing a common pattern. The unsettling twist was that the initials of their first names matched not only their last names, but also the towns where they were found. This eerie coincidence led to extensive media coverage and public fascination, as families across the region became increasingly fearful. The 3 victims, all girls, were discovered in different locations, but each murder happened in close proximity to the towns where they lived. The investigation began in 1971 with the disappearance of 2 children from the same general area, and the pattern soon emerged. The initials of each victim echoed a dark riddle. Their names and the places they hailed from formed an acrostic of sorts, leading to an air of mystery that surrounded the entire case. The first victim, a girl named Carmen Gutierrez, vanished from the city of Rochester. Her body was eventually located in the nearby town of Webster. Shortly after, the community was still reeling when the next child was reported missing. A girl named Wanda Walkovich disappeared from the small town of Macedon. Like Carmen, she was found several miles away, but the killings didn't cease there. The final victim was a young girl named Michelle Mananza, who disappeared from the area around the town of Irondequoit. She too was discovered in a place that paralleled her carefully orchestrated initial pattern. This matching of initials and locations sent waves of panic through the surrounding communities, as parents struggled to understand how something so horrific could happen in their seemingly safe environment. Law enforcement agencies were quickly engaged, and various theories emerged as investigators worked to unravel the threads connecting these disturbing incidents. The media could not get enough of the story. Headlines screamed about the Alphabet Murders, capturing the fears and imaginations of listeners and viewers alike. The public became invested in the narrative, providing tips and speculative theories. Given the media coverage, public interest peaked, and soon the investigation reached a wider audience. However, it also complicated matters for the detectives on the case. With rumors flying and speculation rampant, it became increasingly difficult to differentiate between fact and fiction. Law enforcement officials faced mounting pressure to solve the case before fear escalated further. Investigators utilized numerous techniques available at the time, ranging from interviews with potential witnesses to forensic analysis of the crime scenes. Although advancements in technology and forensic science were not as sophisticated as they would later become, detectives worked tirelessly to piece together the puzzle. They cross-referenced similar cases, examined known offenders, and sought to find any connection that could link the children or their families to potential suspects. The case took on a life of its own in popular culture as well, inspiring books, documentaries, and extensive discussions among true crime enthusiasts. Some details became the focal point for various theories and hypotheses about the potential motivations for the killer. Whether born from a specific psychological profile or a more random act of violence, every aspect of the case seemed to draw in additional layers of intrigue. Despite the relentless pursuit for justice, it took years for any significant leads to emerge. The pattern that initially brought attention to the case also added layers of complexity as investigators attempted to wrap their minds around the seemingly escalating horror. The connection between the initials and the locations provided a chilling motif, but unraveling the true intent behind the murders proved elusive. As the years passed, the Alphabet Murders faded from public attention, although they remained a topic of discussion among those fascinated by unsolved mysteries. Like many cases of this nature, the chilling echoes of the past continued to haunt the community. The enduring mystery kept the names of the victims alive, reminding everyone of the circumstances that brought them together. The story of the Alphabet Murders became a cautionary tale, a reminder of vulnerability and the darkness that can lurk within society. Parents continued to be vigilant, ensuring their children understood the importance of being aware of their surroundings. The case brought communities together in shared grief, while also highlighting the need for safety measures and support systems for families. Today, the intrigue surrounding the Alphabet murders lays in the mystery that remains, the unanswered questions that linger long after the headlines faded. The letters of the alphabet served as a sinister marker, a haunting signature of a twisted crime that left scars on the community and affected countless lives. The desire to understand these tragic events echoes in minds, a testament to how deeply such stories can resonate. While the names may have become just another story in the annals of criminal history, the impact they left endures, creating an atmosphere of reflection and caution that still resonates today. In May of 2007, a young British girl named Madeleine McCann vanished from a holiday apartment in Praia da Luz, a resort town in Portugal. At the time, Madeleine was just 3 years old, traveling with her parents, Jerry and Kate McCann, and her twin sibling. The family was enjoying their much-anticipated vacation when the unimaginable occurred, prompting a global response that would last for years. On the evening of May 3rd, Madeleine was put to bed in the family's rented apartment while her parents dined at a nearby restaurant with friends. They believed their children were safe, as the resort had a reputation for being family-friendly and secure. However, when Kate checked on her children shortly after 9 p.m., she found that Madeleine was missing. Panic set in as a frantic search began, with the McCanns and their friends desperately calling out her name, combing the area in hopes of finding her. The news of Madeleine's disappearance spread quickly. The local police initiated an immediate investigation, launching search operations in the surrounding area. Helicopters were deployed, and search dogs were brought in to assist in the quest to locate the little girl. Hundreds of volunteers, tourists, and locals joined the search efforts, demonstrating an extraordinary sense of community and urgency in the face of a tragic situation. As the search continued, the media began to cover the story extensively. The image of the big-eyed, blonde-haired little girl quickly became iconic, symbolizing the innocence of childhood. The McCanns appeared in numerous interviews, pleading for help and urging anyone with information to come forward. Their emotional distress resonated with people around the world, and this led to an unprecedented level of attention from the international media. The case was picked up by news outlets across Europe, North America, and beyond, creating a pressure cooker of public interest and speculation. With the media spotlight came numerous theories about the disappearance. Speculation ranged from abduction to more sinister possibilities, drawing in amateur sleuths and conspiracy theorists alike. Some believed that Madeleine had been taken by a stranger, while others suggested that she may have wandered off. Various potential sightings of her were reported in different countries, fueling hope, but often leading to dashed expectations when they proved false. The ambiguity and uncertainty surrounding the case only amplified the intrigue and concern. As days turned into weeks and then months, the investigation faced several challenges. The Portuguese police initially led the inquiry, but the case later saw the involvement of Scotland Yard as well. Despite extensive search efforts, leads seemed to dwindle, and the case began to grow cold. However, the McCanns did not give up hope. They launched their own campaign, utilizing social media and raising awareness to keep Madeleine's name alive. They created a fund to help with the search, which drew donations from around the world, showing the remarkable power of human compassion and a commitment to justice. In 2008, a key development in the case came to light when the McCanns were named as suspects by the Portuguese authorities. This brought about a media storm and considerable public scrutiny. Many were quick to jump to conclusions, depicting the couple in a negative light without substantial evidence. This period was particularly challenging for the McCanns, who faced not only the devastation of their daughter's disappearance, but also the torment of public speculation about their role in the situation. The case underwent various transformations, with inquiries reopening and new leads arising over the years. In 2013, after the initial investigation was shelved, the McCanns received a major boost of support when the British government decided to lend assistance to the case. A new team of detectives began to review the investigation, looking for fresh angles and developments that might lead to breakthroughs. Their efforts brought renewed hope to Madeleine's family and supporters. In 2020, an important development occurred when German authorities announced that they had identified a suspect linked to the case. The suspect, a convicted sex offender, was already incarcerated in Germany at the time. His connection to Praia da Luz during the time of Madeleine's disappearance raised hopes that breakthroughs would soon follow. However, despite numerous investigations and appeals, the definitive answers that so many had hoped for remained elusive. The disappearance of Madeleine McCann remains one of the most high-profile and discussed missing persons cases in history. The case has generated countless documentaries, books, and podcasts, each examining different aspects of the investigation and its lasting impact. The story continues to resonate deeply with people worldwide, not just due to the mystery itself, but also because of the human story at the center. It reflects the fears, hopes, and resilience that accompany such profound loss, as well as the extraordinary lengths to which families will go to seek answers and find loved ones. The case of Madeleine McCann is a poignant reminder of the vulnerabilities that exist in an ever-widening world. While answers have eluded investigators, the global response showcases the power of community in times of tragedy. As the years pass, her story remains a call to action, inspiring initiatives that aim to better safeguard children everywhere. The search for truth and justice in such cases is not just about one individual. It represents a collective commitment to protect and cherish the innocence of childhood as it intertwines with both hope and heartache. In April 2006, a young and promising medical student named Brian Shaffer disappeared from Ohio State University, leaving behind a mystery that continues to baffle investigators, friends, and family. The details surrounding his case are intriguing and complex, illustrating the peculiar circumstances that often accompany sudden disappearances. Brian Shaffer was a 27-year-old medical student, known for his dedication to his studies and his vibrant personality. He was described as an outgoing and charismatic individual who enjoyed spending time with friends and family. On the night of his disappearance, Brian was enjoying a night out in Columbus, Ohio, with friends. They visited several bars near the university campus, and Brian seemed to be in high spirits that night, engaging in conversation and laughter with those around him. As the hours passed, Brian and his friends made their way to a popular bar called the Ugly Tuna Saloon. It was here that the sequence of events took a perplexing turn. Surveillance footage captured Brian entering the bar, chatting animatedly with friends, but inexplicably, he was never seen leaving. What happened after he walked through that door has been the subject of intense speculation. Despite thorough investigations and extensive media coverage, no solid leads have ever emerged. The footage from the bar became a focal point, as it illustrates an ordinary evening that took a strange twist, encapsulating the exact moment when Brian seemingly vanished into thin air. Investigators scoured the footage to look for any signs of foul play, but there were none. Brian appeared relaxed and untroubled moments before his disappearance, which only added to the enigma. Following his disappearance, the police initiated extensive searches. They combed through the surrounding area, including nearby parks, the Olentangy River, and the streets of Columbus. Friends, family, and volunteers rallied to support efforts, distributing flyers and canvassing neighborhoods in hopes of finding any trace of Brian. They shared stories of his life, his aspirations, and the bond they had with him, refusing to give up hope. As time passed, various theories began to surface surrounding his disappearance. Some speculated that Brian may have chosen to leave his life behind, overwhelmed by the pressures and challenges of medical school. Others considered the possibility that he may have encountered trouble in the bar, but with no evidence to support these claims. The theories remain just that: speculation without solid foundation. The idea of someone disappearing without a trace raises many questions about human behavior and the complexities of life. The case of Brian Shaffer, for instance, prompts reflection on the pressure students often face, the balance of social life and academic obligations, and the often unseen struggles individuals may encounter. Over the years, Brian's case has been featured in numerous media outlets, discussions, and podcasts. His story serves as a haunting reminder of the uncertainties of life, where one moment can lead to an unknown path. The unresolved nature of Brian's case captures the imagination of many, illustrating how the unknown can hold a powerful grip on heart and mind. As new generations of students pass through the halls of Ohio State University, Brian's story remains part of the campus's narrative. Memorial events and discussions keep his memory alive, reinforcing the importance of community, vigilance, and compassion for those who may be going through unseen struggles. The disappearance of Brian Shaffer highlights a crucial aspect of human society: the way we connect with one another and the bonds we form. It compels us to think about the importance of looking out for friends, checking in regularly, and creating an environment where people feel supported and seen. It reminds us that we must have open lines of communication and be vigilant against the silent battles that others may be facing. In this day and age, where technology offers countless platforms for connection, cases like Brian's also emphasize the need for vigilance about existing social pressures. It's a poignant reminder of how lives can change abruptly, often without warning or explanation. Such stories lead to deeper contemplation about personal safety and community support, urging society to engage with one another more meaningfully. As we reflect on the disappearance of Brian Shaffer, we consider not only the mystery, but also the impact on those who loved him. His family has continued to search for answers, holding on to hope and seeking closure. The hunt for Brian Shaffer is not only an investigation into a missing person, but also a poignant narrative about love, loss, and the unending quest for truth. In conclusion, the case of Brian Shaffer serves as an enduring mystery filled with unanswered questions and deep emotions. It illustrates how a single night in a bustling bar can lead to an inexplicable loss, affecting lives forever. Brian's story remains a testament to the complexities of life and the importance of remembering those who are gone while cherishing the connections we share here and now. The search for answers continues, and as time goes on, his memory invites us all to be more vigilant, compassionate, and engaged in the lives of those around us. In June 1992, the small city of Springfield, Missouri, became the center of attention due to a perplexing mystery that would capture the public's imagination for decades. This chilling case revolves around the mysterious disappearance of two teenage girls, Susanna and Cheryl McGowan, and their mother, Mary McGowan. The events surrounding their disappearance remain one of the enduring unsolved mysteries in the region, and the story continues to provoke curiosity and speculation. The McGowan family, like many others, appeared to live an ordinary life. Mary, who was a 44-year-old mother, had a reputation as a loving parent, deeply involved in her children's lives. Susanna, aged 15, and Cheryl, who was just 13, were typical teenagers navigating the complexities of adolescence while aspiring for their dreams. The three formed a close-knit family unit, and their bond was evident to those who knew them. The series of events leading to their disappearance began on the evening of June 7, 1992. Neighbors reported that it was an ordinary night, with Mary saying goodnight to her children before settling in for the night. The following morning brought an unsettling discovery when a friend of the family arrived to find the home abandoned. There were no signs of struggle, and the doors were locked. It was as if the family had simply vanished into thin air. Investigators quickly sprang into action, querying neighbors and searching the house for clues. They noted that the family's possessions, including personal items and clothing, remained in the home. This detail raised more questions than answers. Why would they leave with such little notice? Family members reported that there had been no indication of distress or any plans to leave. Friends and relatives began to speculate, each offering theories ranging from voluntary disappearance to something more sinister. As the investigation unfolded, authorities discovered several leads. A key witness reported having seen Mary and her daughters leaving Springfield late at night in a light-colored vehicle. This sighting, however, was not corroborated by any other witnesses, leading to further confusion about their last known whereabouts. As the days turned into weeks, search efforts expanded, with volunteers and law enforcement scouring the surrounding area. The Missouri community came together to support the McGowan family, displaying posters and organizing search parties, but no concrete evidence surfaced. The mystery deepened as investigators looked into the family's history. They learned Mary had been through some struggles and had recently concluded a difficult relationship. However, those close to her believed she was dedicated to providing a stable life for her daughters. Despite these personal challenges, there were no obvious signs that the family intended to leave or express a desire for a new life elsewhere. The idea that they would simply walk away from their home and life was difficult for many to understand. The case garnered media attention, leading to various theories that circulated in the community and beyond. Some people speculated that the McGowans had encountered foul play. Others believed they might have chosen to start over in a new place, possibly in search of a fresh start. Yet, there's no evidence supporting either theory. Every reported sighting of the family, whether from local residents or travelers passing through Springfield, eventually led to dead ends. The investigation turned cold, leaving a poignant gap in the efforts to solve the case. As time passed, the McGowans' disappearance began to fade from the headlines, but it never left the minds of those who remembered the family's story. The local community continued to hold vigils and keep hope alive that the missing trio might be found. Family members remained vocal in their quest for answers, emphasizing that they would never give up hope. Despite the passage of years, new leads occasionally surfaced, prompting renewed interest into the case, but each lead failed to bring clarity. The Springfield 3 case has birthed countless discussions in online forums, and those interested in unsolved mysteries often revisit the story, pondering what might have happened to the McGowans. Theories abound, but without concrete evidence, speculation remains just that, speculation. With many unanswered questions, the lack of closure has haunted a generation of Springfield residents. The McGowan family's disappearance has transformed into a classic tale of intrigue, bringing together amateur sleuths, true crime aficionados, and even occasional mention in various media. The case continues to be a potent reminder of the mysteries that can abruptly shatter the tranquility of everyday life. Behind the grim uncertainty lies a deeply human story, which reflects the unbreakable bonds of family, love, and the pain of loss. For those exploring the nature of mysteries rooted in the heart of a community, the story of the Springfield 3 serves as a compelling chapter. It balances the dread of the unknown with a call for compassion and understanding for those left behind. While the fate of Mary, Susanna, and Cheryl McGowan remains elusive, their legacy prompts conversations that extend far beyond a single unsolved case, encouraging deeper thoughts about how fragile life can sometimes be. It reminds us that every family has its story, and every disappearance holds the potential for untold emotions and enduring hope. In November of 1971, an event unfolded that has fascinated and puzzled people for decades. It all began with a seemingly ordinary flight from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington. A man who became known as D.B. Cooper boarded a Boeing 727 aircraft. He was well-dressed, wearing a black suit, a white shirt, and a tie. This man, carrying a briefcase, blended in with the other passengers. But little did they know, he was about to pull off one of the most audacious heists in history. Once in the air, Cooper handed a note to a flight attendant named Florence Schaffner. Initially, she thought it was just a note expressing his interest in her. However, as she glanced at the note, she realized that it contained a much more sinister message. Cooper revealed that he had a bomb and showed her what appeared to be a device with wires and red sticks. In that moment, the seriousness of the situation became clear. After informing the crew of his demands, Cooper requested 4 parachutes and a cash ransom of $200,000. He also insisted that the plane must land in Seattle without delay. The flight was diverted, and as the plane prepared to land, the airline scrambled to gather the ransom and provide the parachutes. Passengers were unaware of the unfolding crisis, believing everything was normal. As the scene unfolded at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, the authorities worked diligently, providing Cooper with the money and the parachutes he requested. While most of the passengers were safely released, Cooper kept several crew members on board to ensure he could escape. Tensions ran high as law enforcement surrounded the plane, but Cooper had a plan in mind. Once he received the money, he ordered the plane to take off again, this time with a smaller number of people on board. With a flight crew still on board and 2 pilots at the controls, Cooper gave instructions to fly to Mexico City, maintaining a low altitude and slow speed. As night fell, the atmosphere within the aircraft remained tense but focused. Cooper's careful planning was evident in how he orchestrated the events. Just before they reached the Reno, Nevada area, he made his move. Adorned in a parachute, he instructed the pilots to lower the ramp of the aircraft. Underneath a blanket of stars, and assisted by the darkness, Cooper opened the rear stairway and leapt into the night. The plane's ascent continued onward, leaving Cooper behind as he vanished into the wilderness below, leaving no trace of where he might have landed. It is said that Cooper had a backpack and was likely dressed to adapt to the elements of the Pacific Northwest's terrain. After he exited the plane, the crew made a daring descent to a nearby airstrip. Despite the urgency, Cooper had successfully evaded capture, and law enforcement was left with the task of finding him before he slipped away entirely. As news of the hijacking spread, the FBI quickly launched an extensive manhunt. The area of the drop zone became a focal point for search teams, scouring vast stretches of land, but failing to uncover any signs of Cooper. Throughout the investigations, authorities found a few clues, including traces of the ransom money hidden away in various places. Some of the cash appeared along the Columbia River years later, but were they real or just a distraction? The discovery sparked further speculation about the identity of D.B. Cooper and his fate. Was he an experienced skydiver with incredible skill, or someone more ordinary who got lucky? Over the years, countless theories emerged about who Cooper really was, with each story revealing the complexities and mysteries surrounding this case. Some speculated he was a former military paratrooper, while others proposed that he might have had financial troubles that drove him to commit such an act. Various individuals came forth claiming to be Cooper, each presenting intricate stories that often led to dead ends. D.B. Cooper's case continues to instill curiosity and intrigue. Documentaries, books, and podcasts have dissected the incident with relentless enthusiasm, emphasizing the profound impact this heist has had on popular culture. The very idea of a man who vanishes into the night with a bag of money captures the imagination, inviting us to ponder the possibilities and outcomes that may have occurred. Even to this day, Cooper's story remains unsolved, leaving behind questions that linger. Did he perish in the wilderness, or did he blend back into society, eluding capture for years to come? Was there a secret life waiting for him, or a legacy he chose to leave behind? The endless speculation continues to ignite the interest of true crime aficionados, amateur sleuths, and curious minds alike. As the decades pass, the legacy of D.B. Cooper lives on. His tale challenges our perception of authority, as well as the boundaries of human audacity. Love him or hate him, the mysterious hijacker has become a part of American folklore, reminding us of the heights to which human cunning can reach and the depths of intrigue that can emerge from a single act of rebellion against the ordinary. This compelling narrative reminds us that some stories remain forever captivating, keeping their secrets close, while inviting us to question what lies beyond the surface. The story of Tupac Shakur, one of the most influential and enigmatic figures in hip-hop history, is filled with triumph, struggle, and ultimately tragedy. His life was a tapestry, woven with themes of resilience, artistry, and social commentary. Born on June 16, 1971, in East Harlem, New York, Tupac Amaru Shakur quickly rose to prominence in the 1990s, becoming a voice for a generation. His lyrics spoke to the challenges faced by African Americans, often touching upon themes of poverty, violence, and inequality. However, his life was as tumultuous as the music he created, leading to an untimely and mysterious end. On September 7, 1996, Tupac attended a boxing match in Las Vegas. It was a night filled with excitement, laughter, and anticipation as the vibrant Las Vegas Strip came alive. After the fight, Tupac and several members of his entourage were driving down Las Vegas Boulevard in a black BMW U-Haul. In an event that would later be etched into the annals of hip-hop history, their car was approached by another vehicle, and gunfire erupted. Tupac was struck multiple times, resulting in life-threatening injuries. Despite the efforts of medical personnel, he succumbed to his wounds 6 days later, on September 13, 1996. The aftermath of Tupac's murder sent shockwaves throughout the music industry and beyond. His death was not just the loss of a talented artist. It represented the culmination of a broader cultural struggle. The circumstances surrounding his murder were clouded in mystery from the very beginning. No one was ever officially charged in connection with the shooting, leading to rampant speculation and conspiracy theories that still circulate today. One theory often discussed revolves around the long-standing feud between East Coast and West Coast hip-hop artists during the 1990s. This rivalry was fueled by media sensationalism and personal conflicts, with Tupac representing the West Coast through his affiliation with Death Row Records, while others, including the notorious B.I.G., were emblematic of the East Coast scene. Some believe that Tupac's murder was a direct result of this feud, suggesting that it was a retaliatory act by rival factions within the hip-hop community. Others speculate on the involvement of law enforcement or even government agencies in the unfolding drama. Dahlia, given the influence Tupac wielded as an artist, and his vivid commentary on systemic issues. Some claim that there may have been motives related to censorship or control of the narrative surrounding African American culture. Another popular theory points to the possibility of gang-related violence. Tupac had complex relationships with various street organizations, and some argue that his ties may have led to his demise. The theory posits that Tupac was a target due to conflicts that stemmed from the environment he navigated, a world filled with both opportunity and peril. There are also conspiracy theories suggesting that Tupac faked his own death to escape the pressures and expectations that came with his fame. Proponents of this theory point to the discrepancies in eyewitness accounts, the lack of a definitive motive, and the absence of substantial evidence leading to a conclusive arrest. Some fans continue to believe that Tupac is still alive, and even claim sightings of him in various parts of the world. In addition to these theories, there has been considerable debate over the investigation itself. Critics have raised questions about the effectiveness and thoroughness of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department's handling of the case. With no arrests made and little progress in the years following the shooting, many feel that justice remains elusive. The haunting questions surrounding Tupac's death contribute to an ongoing dialogue about violence in the music industry and societal issues at large. The legacy of Tupac Shakur endures in his music, poetry, and the cultural conversations he ignited. His songs continue to resonate, echoing through generations. Albums like Me Against the World and All Eyes on Me are not just collections of songs. They are reflections of a complex and turbulent landscape. His ability to articulate the struggles of the marginalized has solidified his status as a timeless figure in the realm of creative expression. In the years following his death, Tupac has become a symbol of resilience and the fight against oppression. His influence extends beyond music, as he has inspired countless artists, activists, and thinkers to confront issues of inequality. The conversations sparked by his life and loss remain relevant in contemporary discussions about race, identity, and empowerment. As new documentaries and books continue to be released, the interest in Tupac's life and the mystery surrounding his murder shows no signs of waning. Each new revelation adds another layer to the intricate narrative. Fans and analysts alike delve into the theories, seeking to make sense of a tragedy that took a brilliant light from the world. Tupac Shakur's story is a reminder of the complexities of fame, the harsh realities of life, and the enduring power of art to challenge and inspire. His legacy is not just about his music, but the conversations that continue to unfold in its wake. The intrigue surrounding his murder invites inquiry, making his life and the mystery of his death a captivating topic that will likely persist for years to come. The enigma of Tupac Shakur continues to provoke thought, drawing new generations to reflect on his impact, his artistry, and the circumstances that turned an artist's life into a cautionary tale. In December 1945, a tragic event unfolded in the small town of Fayetteville, West Virginia. It was Christmas time, a season typically filled with joy and warmth. Yet it would become marked by a mystery that still captures the imagination of many today. The Sodder family home was engulfed in flames during the early hours of December 24th, an event that would forever alter the lives of those involved. The Sodder family consisted of George and Jenny Sodder, along with their 10 children. That night, only 5 of the siblings were present at home: 14-year-old Maurice, 12-year-old Martha, 9-year-old Louis, 8-year-old Jenny, and 5-year-old Betty. The fire erupted, and as George and Jenny frantically tried to escape the blazing house, they feared for their children trapped inside. Firefighters arrived quickly, but the flames were too intense, and the house was lost within a matter of minutes. In the aftermath, the community struggled to come to terms with the loss. Local authorities quickly determined that the 5 children had perished in the fire, despite the fact that no remains were ever recovered. This finding left George and Jenny unsettled, as they found it difficult to accept that their children, a lively bunch full of dreams and aspirations, could simply be gone without a trace. Rumors began to circulate, sowing the seeds of doubt about the official account of the tragedy. Many people speculated that the children may have escaped the fire. After all, several witnesses claimed to have seen the children after that fateful night. Some suggested that they might have been kidnapped by a stranger, or even taken to prevent them from pursuing a life that could have led them into conflict over their Italian-American heritage. George and Jenny began looking for answers, eventually turning to the media and making desperate reports in newspapers. The intrigue around the Sodder case only deepened when George and Jenny's quest for the truth turned into a public crusade. In the years that followed, they erected a billboard along Route 16, featuring the images of their 5 missing children, hoping someone would recognize them and provide information. The billboard remained, drawing the attention not just of local residents, but travelers passing through. As time passed, various reported sightings of the Sodder children began to emerge. These claims came from different parts of the country, including as far as Florida and New York. One sighting involved a man who allegedly told a neighbor that he had taken the children from the burning home. Some even claimed to have seen the siblings living with a Roma family in Kentucky. Various leads were investigated, some leading to dead ends, while others deepened the enigma. In 1952, George and Jenny took the investigation a step further by hiring a private detective who found evidence suggesting that the children were, in fact, alive. A woman in the area reported overhearing a conversation that suggested the children had survived, but were being hidden to prevent their return to their family. This led to even more theories, gossip, and speculation about the fire and the possible fate of the siblings. In a bid to uncover the truth, George and Jenny also sought the help of a psychic who promised them answers. The psychic claimed that the children were alive and gave very specific details about where they could find them. However, these leads also produced no concrete evidence. During the 1960s, George and Jenny continued to push for answers, launching appeals for information, and even meeting with state officials. They also maintained their billboard and commissioned a new photo of what the children would look like as adults, in an attempt to jog memories and maybe connect with anyone who might have information. The mystery began to take on a more sinister tone when people speculated that the Sodder family could have been the victims of foul play. An understanding of the family dynamics of the time suggested they were involved in politics and may have been targeted due to their outspoken Italian-American beliefs. Questions regarding the cause of the fire also arose. Was it truly accidental, or was there something more? Neighbors recounted that the fire had started mysteriously, with some even suggesting that someone might have intentionally set the blaze. For many years, the Sodder children mystery remained unsolved. The case inspired movies, books, and documentaries, all eager to delve into the unknown. Over the decades, George and Jenny aged, but they never lost hope. They publicly proclaimed their belief that their children were alive, with Jenny famously stating that she would never give up searching for her kids. George finally passed away in 1969, and Jenny continued the search until her death in 1989. Their home became a testament to their unwavering determination and love. Even after their passing, the Sodder family story remains a chilling reminder of how one heart-wrenching event can spark endless questions, weaving a tapestry of speculation that fascinates and confounds. Today, the mystery of the Sodder children continues to intrigue true crime enthusiasts and amateur detectives. The case serves as a platform for inquiries into the unknown, where possibility meets speculation, weaving a narrative that lingers on the edges of history. With every new generation that learns about the Sodder children, the hope of finding the truth remains alive, keeping the story current and igniting curiosity about what really happened that fateful night in December. In the annals of maritime history, few tales are as haunting and enigmatic as that of the Mary Celeste. This American brigantine was discovered abandoned in the Atlantic Ocean in December 1872, provoking curiosity and speculation that endures to this day. The Mary Celeste was a vessel that once sailed with purpose and crew, but its eerie fate became a veritable puzzle wrapped in the mist of the ocean. The backstory of the Mary Celeste lies in her origin. Launched in 1861, she was originally named the Amazon, but was later rebranded as the Mary Celeste. She was a sturdy ship, measuring more than 100 feet in length, built for commercial trade. Her intended voyages took her across the Atlantic, and she was well equipped with supplies, cargo, and a competent crew. One would expect that a mission on such a capable vessel would end without incident. Yet it was not to be the case. In November 1872, when the Mary Celeste departed from New York City, she was bound for Genoa, Italy. The cargo included 1,700 barrels of alcohol, a highly valuable shipment for that era. The voyage began like any other, with the crew consisting of Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife, and their 2-year-old daughter, as well as 7 sailors. All appeared normal as the ship set sail, but fate had other plans. About a month later, a ship named the Di Gracchia, also sailing from New York, encountered the Mary Celeste drifting aimlessly near the Azores Islands. It's significant to note that the Mary Celeste was found in a seaworthy condition, with its sails furled and its lifeboat missing. The crew of the Di Gracchia, led by Captain David Morehouse, boarded the abandoned ship, only to be met with an eerie silence. The crew was nowhere to be found. What captured the imaginations of explorers and investigators alike was the state of the Mary Celeste. The dinner table was set, a meal was left uneaten, and personal belongings were strewn about as if the crew had left in haste. Interestingly, the ship itself appeared intact, with no signs of struggle or foul play. It was not damaged by storms or pirates, yet the absence of its crew was a chilling conundrum. The circumstances leading to the disappearance of the crew have spawned countless theories and speculations. Some believed that the ship was cursed, perhaps a victim of bad luck that befell its previous voyages. Others posited that the crew may have staged a mutiny, or that pirates had taken them. The thought of pirates seemed fitting, given the romantic notions surrounding the golden age of piracy, yet there was no evidence to substantiate this claim. One intriguing theory proposed that the alcohol cargo had caused the crew to fear an explosion. The barrels contained alcohol that could potentially evaporate, creating flammable vapors. It suggested that the crew might have sensed a leak or perceived a danger that prompted them to abandon the ship. However, investigating this theory raised further questions. If there was such a threat, why would they leave their personal effects and the vessel in good order? Another explanation suggests that the crew may have encountered a strong storm and decided to evacuate to the lifeboat, only to be met by fate on the open sea. Yet, the lifeboat's absence was perplexing, as it seemed unlikely that they would leave the Mary Celeste behind if they intended to return. The mysterious nature of the Mary Celeste only deepened over the years as various enthusiasts and amateur sleuths proposed their detective work. Some delved into the supernatural, suggesting that the ship was a vessel of the beyond, cursed to sail the oceans without its crew. Others offered more scientific takes, theorizing about mental illness, fever, or panic amongst the crew, contributing to their sudden disappearance. Interestingly, an investigation following the discovery of the Mary Celeste did little to provide clarity. There was no evidence of wrongdoing, leading many to speculate that it was a strange phenomenon or a cosmic event that had led to the Vanishing Act. Each theory spun a unique narrative, contributing to a wider tapestry of maritime lore that captivated the public's imagination. The tale of the Mary Celeste continues to resonate through popular culture. It has inspired countless adaptations in literature, art, and film, each interpretation adding a layer to the mystery. This ship speaks to something deeper within human nature, the longing for answers, the desire to understand the unknown. As the years have passed, the mystery of the Mary Celeste has transitioned from mere curiosity to legendary status. Scholars and historians have thoroughly examined the evidence, but the truth eludes us, much like the crew of the ship itself. This unique story stands not merely as an unresolved maritime mystery, but as an emblem of our enduring thirst for understanding the unexplained. The questions it raises about human existence, fate, and the untamed nature of the sea remain timeless, inviting each new generation to ponder the mysteries that linger just beyond the horizon. In the vastness of the ocean, where waves crash against the hulls of ships, the legend of the Mary Celeste persists, a ship forever adrift in the realms of Enigma, echoing the lost whispers of a crew that vanished into thin air. Each wave that laps against the shore holds a secret of the past, and with the Mary Celeste, the sea continues to tell its story in haunted tones. In the quiet town of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, a chilling mystery unfolded in 1989 that still resonates with many today. The story revolves around a young girl named Amy Lynn Bradley, whose sudden disappearance shocked her community and left a void that lingers in the minds of those who lived through it. Amy, just a vibrant and curious 11-year-old at the time, was a typical young girl who enjoyed life, school, and spending time with her friends. Her radiant smile and affectionate nature always attracted those around her. On the warm afternoon of May 15th, 1989, everything seemed ordinary. Amy, clad in her favorite blue dress, left her house to spend time playing in her neighborhood. As the hours passed and the sun began to set, those who loved her became increasingly uneasy when she didn't return home. What began as a simple delay in her playtime quickly turned into an urgent search effort. Families, friends, and neighbors came together, scouring nearby parks, playgrounds, and streets in search of Amy. As the night turned into dawn, fear gripped the hearts of those who knew her. The Cedar Rapids Police Department was notified, and the investigation officially began. Officers interviewed friends and family, trying to capture any clue that might explain Amy's sudden absence. They learned she was last seen with her friends, playing as children do, but no one could provide insight into the moments leading up to her disappearance. Reports filled the airwaves. Posters featuring Amy's bright face were plastered around town, and throughout Iowa, the search for the girl escalated. Over the subsequent days, local media outlets picked up Amy's story, drawing attention from across the state. The community rallied with unwavering support, holding vigils and organizing search parties to comb through the areas where she might have gone. Despite every effort, however, days turned into weeks with no sign of Amy Lynn Bradley. The unfolding mystery left an indelible mark on Cedar Rapids and raised countless questions about what could have happened to her. As time went on, the investigation faced numerous challenges. Police explored various leads, interviewing individuals who might have seen anything suspicious. They developed theories, yet each lead seemed to go cold. The case remained shrouded in uncertainty, with no solid evidence to suggest where Amy might be or what fate had befallen her. In a close-knit community, the absence of a little girl left an emotional aftermath that echoed in the hearts of everyone who remembered her laughter and joy. The haunting nature of unsolved cases often leaves a profound impact on those involved, including the family of the missing. Amy Lynn's parents, devastated yet resilient, transformed their sorrow into advocacy. They dedicated themselves to raising awareness about missing persons, becoming voices for those who could not speak for themselves. Their tireless efforts brought attention not only to their daughter's case, but also to the broader issue of child safety, fostering a movement that encouraged vigilance among neighbors and families. As years slipped by, Amy's face became a symbol of hope, featured in campaigns and community events. While age took its toll on the search for her, it also brought with it a sense of unity within Cedar Rapids. People began to understand the importance of community involvement and the need to look out for one another, particularly the vulnerable. Amy's story emphasized the crucial role that neighbors play in keeping their communities safe. In the realm of unsolved mysteries, Amy's case was not alone. There are countless stories of missing individuals, each with their unique circumstances and heart-wrenching tales. Yet, the struggle of Amy's family became emblematic of the tireless pursuit of answers that drives many families to never give up hope. The essence of their fight serves as a reminder of the fragility of life and the intertwined destinies of community. Even after decades, the case of Amy Lynn Bradley remains a focal point of intrigue and an unresolved chapter in the annals of Cedar Rapids. New theories and renewed investigations occasionally surface, igniting brief flares of hope that another piece of the puzzle might become available. However, each lead slowly fades, just like the summer days of 1989, when a little girl had her world ahead of her, filled with dreams waiting to be fulfilled. In the age of technology, the influence of social media has changed how such cases are perceived and acted upon. More recently, efforts to generate awareness for missing children through viral campaigns have gained traction. The digital era allows stories that may have fallen silent to be revived, pushing them back into the public consciousness. Amy's story continues to be shared, ensuring that her name, face, and legacy are never forgotten. The unresolved disappearance of Amy Lynn Bradley remains a haunting reminder of the mysteries that exist in our world. It compels us to examine our surroundings, cherish those we love, and advocate for safety and awareness. As each person reflects on their own memories and connections, the story of Amy serves as a poignant call for vigilance, compassion, and unity in the face of uncertainty. In her absence, a community's resolve has grown stronger, solidifying the belief that no child should ever vanish without a trace, and that hope should never be extinguished. Cicada 3301 is an enigmatic phenomenon that has intrigued and perplexed Internet users since its first appearance in 2012. This mysterious organization, or individual, gained attention through a series of complex puzzles and cryptic messages. The puzzles are renowned for their diverse range and the intricate layers of meaning embedded within them, leading many individuals on a quest for understanding and solution. The first known puzzle appeared in January 2012 on an internet forum. It consisted of an image that withheld a vast network of clues, encouraging anyone who deciphered it to partake in the journey of uncovering further puzzle. The accompanying message indicated that the organization sought individuals who were skilled in various disciplines, including cryptography, steganography, and computer programming. This broad appeal drew a multitude of participants from all corners of the web, eager to showcase their talents and solve the enigmatic riddle. Participants soon discovered that the puzzles were not confined to the digital realm. Clues were embedded in physical locations worldwide, urging solvers to venture out into the real world. Posters were spotted in multiple cities, featuring QR codes that led to further enigmas. This blending of digital and physical media transformed the puzzle-solving experience into an adventure that transcended geographical boundaries, uniting a global community of puzzle enthusiasts. The complexity of Cicada, 3,301 puzzles, lies in their multifaceted nature. They encompass a wide array of disciplines that challenge the participants' knowledge and skills. Elements from literature, history, and mathematics intertwine throughout the enigmas. Participants must exercise critical thinking, while also harnessing creativity in order to navigate the intricate web of clues. The outcome of these puzzles has resulted in various interpretations, as individuals bring their unique perspectives to the deciphering process. One notable aspect of the Cicada 3,301 puzzles is the heavy reliance on esoteric knowledge. Many of the solutions require familiarity with classical texts, historical references, and specialized subjects such as cryptography. The puzzles draw upon a rich tapestry of cultural references that evoke curiosity and provide depth to the challenge. This characteristic elevates the experience from simple problem-solving to a journey of intellectual exploration. As individuals work through these challenges, the concept of collaboration emerges as a key factor. Communities formed around the puzzles, with enthusiasts sharing insights, strategies, and discoveries. Online forums and social media platforms became hotspots for discussion, where solvers would exchange ideas and theories. This collective knowledge not only enhanced individual understanding, but also fostered camaraderie among participants, turning solitary endeavors into a collaborative pursuit. Despite the allure of the puzzles, the true purpose of Cicada 3,301 remains shrouded in mystery. While some speculate that the organization may be recruiting for clandestine purposes, others propose that it serves as a form of art or a social commentary. The ambiguity surrounding its intentions adds another layer of intrigue, prompting philosophical discussions about identity, truth, and the nature of knowledge itself. The puzzles have also transcended their original platform, inspiring a plethora of interpretations in popular culture. Small references to Cicada 3,300 can be found in various forms of media, including literature, video games, and television shows. These nods serve as a testament to the profound impact that the Enigma has had on contemporary culture, illustrating how a communal undertaking can ripple through various facets of society. As one explores the narrative of Cicada 3,301, themes of curiosity and exploration emerge prominently. The journey of deciphering these puzzles is not merely about arriving at the correct answer, but rather immersing oneself in the richness of the experience. It beckons participants to embrace uncertainty and to celebrate the process of discovery. The depth of the clues encourages solvers to think beyond the immediate goal and to appreciate the beauty of intellectual challenge. To this day, the true identity of Cicada 3,301 remains a topic of speculation. Various theories have emerged, ranging from suggestions that it is a secret society to claims that it is an elaborate social experiment. The unanswered questions surrounding its origins and purposes contribute to the enduring fascination that the enigma holds over those who encounter it. In conclusion, the phenomenon of Cicada 3003-01 stands as a remarkable testament to the power of puzzles and the human desire for exploration and understanding. It weaves together strands of mystery, community, and intellectual challenge, inviting individuals to embark on a journey that transcends conventional boundaries. As the quest for answers continues, the legacy of Cicada 3301 remains alive in the hearts and minds of those who dare to engage with its intricate web of enigmas, echoing the eternal quest for knowledge and truth. In the summer of 2014, a chilling incident captured the attention of the world, igniting numerous theories and speculations that linger to this day. This story revolves around a young German tourist named Lars Mittank, whose mysterious disappearance in Bulgaria has continued to baffle investigators and intrigue the public. Lars was just 28 years old, full of life and adventure, when he decided to embark on a trip with friends to the sunny shores of Varna, Bulgaria. Like many young travelers, he was eager to explore new places, meet new people, and create unforgettable memories. The days were filled with laughter, beach outings, and the carefree excitement that comes with vacationing in a foreign land. Everything seemed to go well until one fateful night when Lars found himself in a bar. After an altercation with a group of locals, he began exhibiting signs of fear and anxiety. What was initially a cheerful trip took a drastic turn when Lars began to express paranoia. In their recollections, friends later noted that Lars seemed to be acting strangely, worried that someone was following him. As the days passed, Lars seemed increasingly disturbed. His friends, concerned for his well-being, eventually left the trip as planned, but not before urging him to return home with them. However, he decided to extend his stay, convinced that the situation would improve. But things escalated quickly. Lars suffered an unfortunate injury to his ear while he was playing soccer and sought medical attention at a nearby hospital. After receiving treatment, it seemed life would return to normal, but Lars's mental state continued to decline. He was reportedly concerned about something troubling, a fear that troubled him deeply. At that moment, many who knew him were puzzled, as he had never exhibited such behavior before. A few days later, the situation took one of the most bewildering turns imaginable. On July 8th, Lars abruptly vacated his hotel in the early hours of the morning, leaving behind all his belongings. Witnesses reported seeing him running frantically through the streets, as if he were trying to escape from an unseen threat. This frantic flight was captured on security cameras, immortalizing the last known movements of Lars Mittank. The footage reveals a young man seemingly in a state of distress. He dashes through the courtyard of his hotel, looking back over his shoulder, and hurries to the nearby train station. These images raised alarm and left many questions unanswered. What caused Lars to act in such a frantic manner? Was it a mental health crisis, or were external factors at play that have yet to be revealed? Lars was last seen in Varna, walking into the woods near the train station. These woods would become the source of countless searches by authorities and volunteers, but the results were disheartening. Despite extensive efforts and numerous follow-ups, no trace of Lars was ever found. This bewildering vanishing act left his family heartbroken, grappling with uncertainty and the absence of closure. As the story of Lars Mittank spread across the internet and news outlets, various theories emerged. Some entertained the possibility that he fell victim to foul play, while others theorized he might have suffered a psychological breakdown. One theory even suggested he might have encountered a drug interaction, as there was talk of confusion over medications. These speculations only added to the enigma surrounding his disappearance. Additionally, The case has sparked discussions about mental health and the pressures young individuals face while traveling. The stresses of unfamiliar environments, coupled with personal anxieties, can manifest in alarming ways, showcasing the importance of compassion and understanding in such situations. In the years that followed, Lars's family continued their search for answers. They have remained vocal advocates, raising awareness about the conditions surrounding his disappearance, while pleading for anyone with information to come forward. The family's determination and resilience have touched many hearts, reminding us of the fragility of life. Interestingly, as the case developed over time, it drew the attention of amateur sleuths and online communities. Various forums dedicated themselves to dissecting the mystery, analyzing every piece of footage, interviewing experts, and reaching out to those who might have seen Lars in the days after his vanishing. While many theories emerged, none could fully explain the bizarre circumstances surrounding his disappearance. The fascination with Lars Mittank's story reflects a broader societal intrigue with unresolved mysteries and the unknown. People resonate with the story of a young man lost in a foreign place, and the haunting question remains: what truly happened to Lars? As time passes, his disappearance continues to be a poignant reminder of the unanswered questions that can arise in everyday life. The case of Lars Mittank stands as a testament to the unpredictability of existence, urging us all to be more aware and compassionate towards those around us. While search efforts might dwindle, the hope for answers persists, and the story of Lars serves as a clarion call for vigilance, understanding, and the enduring bond of family. His fate remains a mystery, yet his story lives on, a poignant tale echoing the complexities of human emotion and the peculiarities of life. On a chilly February night in 2013, the bustling city of Los Angeles was rocked by an incident that would captivate true crime enthusiasts around the globe. Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old Canadian student, mysteriously vanished from the infamous Cecil Hotel. The peculiar circumstances surrounding her disappearance, coupled with haunting footage captured just days prior, fueled an array of theories and fueled a fascination that still endures today. Elisa began her journey in Vancouver, full of life and curiosity. She had plans to explore California and connect with fellow travelers. Her trip took her to Los Angeles, where she stayed at the Cecil Hotel, a location rich in history and known for its dark past. Little did she know that this hotel, which had housed various travelers and unfortunate souls over the decades, would become the backdrop of her untimely demise. After checking into the hotel on January 26, 2013, Elisa maintained contact with her family through social media and phone calls, sharing her experiences and adventures during her stay. However, her communication abruptly stopped, prompting her family to become alarmed and report her missing on February 1, 2013. What truly escalated the intrigue was the release of elevator security footage showing Elisa on the night she disappeared. In this grainy, eerie video, she is seen entering the elevator of the Cecil Hotel. Her behavior is undeniably unsettling. The footage captures her appearing anxious, glancing nervously down the hallway and peering out of the elevator as if she is looking for someone or something. She presses various buttons in a seemingly frantic manner, and at one point, she even hides in a corner, peeking out as if she is being watched. The footage quickly went viral, with viewers dissecting every moment and speculating about her mental state. Some suggested that her behavior could have indicated a struggle with anxiety or a possible altercation with an unknown person. Others posited more sinister interpretations, claiming that the video suggested she was being pursued or that she was experiencing some form of supernatural encounter. The Cecil Hotel's storied past played a significant role in the myriad theories that erupted following the release of the video. The hotel had a reputation for tragic events, including suicides and murders, sparking rumors that it was haunted or cursed. Some connected Elisa's fate to the hotel's history, leading to hypotheses that her death was the result of supernatural forces at play. Days later, after extensive searches by authorities and concerned hotel guests, Elisa's body was discovered in one of the hotel's rooftop water tanks. The discovery raised more questions than answers. What could have led her to such a perilous situation? The water tank was both hidden and difficult to access, and witnesses reported that the water's unusual taste had prompted complaints from guests for weeks prior. The conditions of her passing left many bewildered. Upon investigation, authorities concluded that Elisa had no external injuries, stating that her death was an accidental drowning following a bout of bipolar disorder, a condition she had struggled with for years. Findings added layers to the mystery. How did she end up in the water tank? Was her state of mind a contributing factor in her decision-making? The official reports did not provide satisfying closure for those captivated by Elisa's story. In the aftermath of her tragic passing, Elisa Lam became a figure of intrigue and discussion within various online communities. People delved into the psychological implications behind her behavior, the potential effects of mental health on the decisions individuals make, and the societal stigmas surrounding mental illness. Elisa's case highlighted the importance of understanding mental health better, prompting dialogues about how we perceive and treat individuals grappling with such struggle. The Cecil Hotel, often seen as a simple hotel, morphed into a grim symbol for tragedies too numerous to recount. It stirred interest, not only due to the tragic events that occurred within its walls, but also for its role in popular culture, occasionally referenced in films, documentaries, and television shows. This exploration of its past and the various incidents, including Elisa's story, further entrenched the hotel in the public psyche as a place of mystery. In the years since her passing, Elisa Lam has remained a prominent figure in discussions around unsolved mysteries and unexplained phenomena. Various documentaries and podcasts have revisited her story, each one adding nuance and perspective to the so-called enigma surrounding her death. Questions continue to swirl. Why did she act the way she did? Was her experience exacerbated by medication or isolation? The lingering doubts and plethora of theories contribute to an ongoing fascination that extends beyond her sad fate, tapping into our innate desire to explore the obscure and understand the unexplainable. Indeed, Elisa's tragic story serves as a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of compassion, particularly towards those wrestling with hidden battles like mental health issues. It emphasizes that behind every headline, there is a person with dreams, fears, and experiences. As we reflect upon Elisa Lam's journey, we are urged to consider the complexities of our own narratives, the stories left untold, and the mysteries that linger in the corners of both our lives and the world around us. In the late 20th century, the small town of Circleville, Ohio, found itself at the center of an enigma that would captivate both its residents and the nation at large. This story revolves around a series of anonymous letters that began to surface, filled with chilling threats and accusations against various individuals in the community. The letters carried an unmistakable tone of intimidation and secrecy, leaving the townsfolk in a state of heightened anxiety and suspicion. The chaos began in 1976 when a letter started to appear in the mailboxes of Circleville residents, each one revealing intricate details about private lives that seemingly only the letter writer could know. While at first, some thought these letters might be pranks or misguided attempts at community activism, it soon became clear that they were something much more disturbing. These correspondences specifically targeted individuals with harmful and accusatory statements, some even pointing fingers at individuals for alleged misdeeds without providing any evidence. It seemed that the writer had an intricate knowledge of the town's inner workings, and this only added to the fear and paranoia. Neighborhoods transformed as trust among friends and families began to erode. How could one know if their neighbor was behind the ominous letters? Tension escalated when the contents of the letters escalated from vague threats to explicit warnings and alarming personal revelations. Some residents received detailed allegations about their marital fidelity, employment actions, and personal habits. It was as though everyone's darkest secrets were being held hostage by the anonymous author. The letters, thoughtfully crafted to elicit fear and mistrust, quickly became the talk of the town, drawing in local law enforcement and creating a whirlwind of speculation and theories about the identity of the letter writer. As the situation unfolded, residents began to form their own theories about who could be behind this web of mystery. Accusations flew, and fingers pointed in various directions. Some speculated that those who held grudges or had past disputes with certain individuals might be the culprits. The chaos surrounding the letters only deepened when it became evident that some of the claims made in the letters were not just baseless accusations, but very specific in nature, signaling that the writer had a connection to the community they targeted. In response to these tensions, police began to investigate the situation more seriously. They sought to discover the origins of these letters, while attempting to provide a sense of safety and normalcy to the residents. The investigation involved tracing the letters' postmarks, analyzing handwriting samples, and interviewing dozens of residents in hopes of uncovering the anonymous antagonist. As days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the letters did not wane. Instead, they multiplied. One letter detailed the author's view on unspoken relationships between town figures, while others included chilling predictions regarding future events. The tone was accusative, almost menacing, and added to the growing atmosphere of mistrust in Circleville. One of the most concerning incidents occurred when residents found themselves embroiled in a tragic event: the suspicious death of a local man named Gordon Mashka. But it was thought that some of the letters he received might have been connected to his untimely passing, intertwining the ongoing mystery with a tragedy that struck at the heart of the community. As media attention grew, the Circleville letter mystery captured the imagination of true crime enthusiasts across the country. The story's compelling nature and the lingering question of who was responsible ignited local folklore. Some residents even claimed that the letters had become a haunting legend, a story passed down among the younger generations, serving as a cautionary tale about trust and secrets in close-knit communities. Despite numerous investigations and public appeals for assistance, the mystery of the Circleville letters continued to remain unresolved well into the 1990s, casting a long shadow over the town. Police remained vigilant and intended to prevent any further chaos arising from the situation, reassuring residents that they were doing everything in their power to unveil the truth. Ongoing debates about the legitimacy of the claims made in the letters, alongside the deeper issues of the personal lives of the targeted individuals, forced the entire community to confront uncomfortable realities. In the years since, The Circleville letters have become an enduring piece of Ohio's history, marked by the silence of their creator and the ripple effects felt throughout the town. For many, the mystery remains a topic of discussion, a puzzle that still begs for resolution. Those who lived through this troubling chapter often share their experiences, recounting the tension of those days and the pervasive atmosphere of uncertainty. The legacy of these letters persists, reminding us all of the power of the written word and how it can wield influence over hearts, minds, and communities. Even now, as Circleville moves on from the shadow of that mystery, the impact of those letters continues to echo through the decades, serving as a poignant reminder of the complexities of human relationships and the dangers of anonymity. The truth, buried beneath layers of intrigue and personal stories, still waits to be unveiled, keeping the curiosity alive in the hearts of many. In the annals of criminal investigation, few cases have stirred as much intrigue and confusion as the striking phenomenon known as the Phantom of Heilbronn. This captivating story begins in the early 1990s in Germany, when a series of violent crimes captured the attention of law enforcement and the public alike. At the center of this chilling narrative was DNA evidence linked to a mysterious woman who seemingly evaded capture across Europe for over a decade. The saga started in 1993 in the small town of Heilbronn, situated in the German state of Baden-Württemberg. Following a brutal murder, investigators collected DNA evidence that revealed a puzzling match. The genetic profile belonged to a woman. The image of a phantom-like figure emerged, a spectral woman whose presence was felt across numerous cases. As criminal activities unfolded in various locations, including Germany, France, and Austria, the haunting presence of this enigmatic woman seemed almost omnipresent, weaving through the fabric of numerous crimes. Over the years, the authorities scrambled to piece together the identity of this elusive individual. Despite extensive investigations, interviews, and even the publication of sketches attempting to conjure an image of this phantom, no one could locate her. Each new crime scene presented yet another opportunity for the spectral female to boast her connection, as law enforcement officials faced an increasingly perplexing dilemma. How could someone possibly traverse such a vast geographical expanse, implicated in various serious crimes, without ever being apprehended or even cited? The enigmatic nature of the Phantom of Heilbronn created a media frenzy. Headlines proclaimed tales of the phantom woman who had become a ghostly figure haunting crime scenes. The fear escalated as the public grew concerned about an unseen violator who seemed to possess the uncanny ability to elude capture time and time again. Investigators brought significant media attention to the case, sharing the details of each crime, urging citizens to remain vigilant, all while trying to unravel the web of this mysterious woman's activities. The investigations revealed a series of offenses ranging from murder to burglary and beyond. Each time DNA linked back to the phantom woman, police were left scrambling for answers. It was as though she was a thief of shadows, delving into the chaos of human nature, while remaining ever elusive. Some speculated about the possibility of her being part of an organized crime syndicate, or even an international criminal mastermind. Theories began circulating, leading to feverish discussions and debates within both legal and academic circles. Ultimately, however, the story takes an unexpected turn. In 2009, after years of tireless investigation, the truth was unearthed in a stunning revelation. The DNA present at these crime scenes had not been a sign of a mysterious woman or a cunning criminal, but instead pointed to contamination. The poignant discovery stemmed from the testing process, leading to the conclusion that the genetic material was not derived from an actual perpetrator, but rather from a trace left on the equipment used for gathering evidence. This newfound understanding transformed the narrative surrounding the Phantom of Heilbronn from one filled with tension and suspense to a story underscored by the perils of forensic science. It raised critical questions about the integrity of evidence and the processes through which it is collected and analyzed. The case underscored the delicate balance between technological advancement in criminal forensics and the potential for human error, reminding us how easily the line between fact and fiction can blur in the quest for truth. As law enforcement officials regrouped, the public was left in awe, grappling with the notion that they had collectively been misled by a phantom that never truly existed. The Phantom Woman transformed from a figure of fear into a cautionary tale about the inherent complexities of crime scene investigations. While the Phantom may have vanished, the echoes of this story linger on, a reminder of the tangled intersections of justice and science. In subsequent years, the Phantom of Heilbronn case has been cited in discussions on the need for rigorous standards in forensic practices. DNA technology, while revolutionary and invaluable, also requires careful handling and understanding to ensure that it serves its intended purpose without inadvertently perpetuating confusion or fear. Thus, the tale of the Phantom of Heilbronn stands not only as a historical mystery, but also as a testament to the profound implications that science and investigation bear in our modern society. It illustrates the broader themes of human nature, the quest for truth, and the continuous pursuit of justice, emphasizing how understanding the past can shape the future of law enforcement practices. In the early morning hours of September 30th, 1982, the residents of the Chicago area awoke to a shocking tragedy that would forever change the landscape of consumer safety in America. A series of untimely deaths had occurred, all linked to a common over-the-counter pain relief medication known as Tylenol. What began as a routine day would rapidly turn into a chilling tale of mystery, fear, and the quest for justice. In total, 7 people fell victim to this heinous act, leading to widespread panic and a significant response from both health authorities and law enforcement. Those who lost their lives had taken Tylenol capsules from bottles purchased at various stores in the Chicago area. Within hours of consuming the medication, they succumbed to symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and severe headaches. The situation escalated quickly as news spread that these seemingly innocuous capsules were laced with cyanide, a chemical notorious for its lethality. The victims included everyday people, a mother, a young girl, and even a young man. Their stories resonated with the public, amplifying the fear and confusion that surrounded what was becoming one of the most infamous poisonings in American history. Investigators worked tirelessly, focusing their efforts on determining how the capsules had been tampered with and, most importantly, identifying the perpetrator responsible for this unforgivable act. As the investigation progressed, it was revealed that the tainted capsules were not isolated to a single pharmacy or batch. Instead, they had been distributed over a wide area, making it nearly impossible to pinpoint the source. This led to a public outcry and a massive recall of Tylenol products across the nation. Over 31 million bottles, valued at over $100 million, were swiftly removed from store shelves in an effort to protect consumers. The event prompted immediate changes in the regulation and packaging of consumer medications. Manufacturers began to implement tamper-proof packaging as a necessary safeguard. The idea was to ensure that consumers could feel secure in the products they purchased, confident that no harm had been inflicted before they reached their hands. This shift set a new standard for the pharmaceutical industry and introduced federal regulations that required tamper-evident packaging on all over-the-counter products. However, the psychological impact lasted far beyond the immediate aftermath. The notion that someone could intentionally poison Tylenol capsules created an atmosphere of suspicion and fear among the public. People became vigilant, reading labels and scrutinizing products more carefully than ever before. The case raised questions about trust in everyday items and the lengths to which a person might go to cause harm. For investigators, the case proved to be a convoluted puzzle. They explored numerous leads, interviewed witnesses, gathered evidence, and even created profiles of the potential suspect. Despite their exhaustive efforts, the investigation faced numerous challenges. The case reached a point where various theories emerged about possible motivations behind the tampering. Some speculated that it was a disgruntled former employee of the pharmaceutical company, while others believed it might have been a criminal act intended to manipulate the stock market. For years, the mystery of the Chicago Tylenol murders remained unresolved. It sparked discussions about ethics in consumer safety and the moral responsibilities of companies when it comes to public health. Awareness campaigns were launched, emphasizing the importance of recognizing suspicious packaging and understanding the potential dangers of tampered products. Many years later, the case remains officially unsolved, and new details occasionally spark renewed interest. Some people have come forward claiming to know the identity of the perpetrator, or they have proposed theories based on new evidence that has surfaced since the original investigation. Despite a lack of concrete answers, the legacy of the Chicago Tylenol murders continues to influence how consumers approach safety today. This incident was not just a crime. It represented a betrayal of the public trust. In a world where individuals rely on everyday products for relief and health, the importance of ensuring safety cannot be overstated. The chilling events of that autumn day in 1982 serve as a solemn reminder that vigilance and accountability are paramount. As we remember the 7 individuals who lost their lives, we also honor the advancements that have emerged from this tragedy. The changes in packaging, the implementation of tampering laws, and the increase in consumer awareness all contribute to a safer environment for us all. So as we explore the landscape of consumer safety, let us remain vigilant and informed. The Chicago Tylenol murders continue to echo in our collective memory, teaching us important lessons about trust, safety, and the need for accountability. The echoes of that tragic chapter in history remind us that while we may never know the full truth, the impact of these events has shaped our understanding of safety and consumer responsibility for generations to come. In the quiet and picturesque mountains of Northern California, a chilling incident occurred in the fall of 1981. It was a crime that would baffle investigators and capture the attention of true crime enthusiasts for decades to come. This is the story of the Keddy Cabin Murders, an unsettling event that took place in a secluded community known as Keddy. On the night of April 11, 1981, the serenity of this remote cabin was shattered. Inside, 36-year-old Glenna Sue Sharp had taken her 3 children, John, Sheila, and Tina, on a brief getaway from their home in Quincy. They were joined by a family friend, 36-year-old Marilyn Marty Ahmed, who was visiting from Riverside. The day had been filled with laughter and warmth. But as the darkness fell, their refuge would turn into a scene of unimaginable horror. The following day, Sheila, who had spent the night at a friend's cabin, returned home and opened the door to find the unimaginable. In the dim light of the cabin, she discovered the lifeless bodies of her mother and brother, in a gruesome display of violence. The scene was horrific. Sue and John had been brutally attacked, leaving the small cabin's living room stained with chaos and fear. Marty Ahmed was also found deceased, leaving only the youngest daughter, Tina, unaccounted for. What happened that night remains a mystery. The investigation quickly began, leading authorities to interview numerous individuals, including various friends and acquaintances of the Sharp family. The community was on edge, grappling with the chilling knowledge that a violent killer could still be at large. The murders were particularly shocking, given the close-knit nature of Keddie, where residents lived in relative safety and familiarity. Authorities soon theorized that the attack may have been personal, considering the methodical nature of the murders. There were no signs of forced entry, raising questions about who could have committed such a heinous act. As rumors and speculation circulated, the investigation led to several leads that, although intriguing, never resulted in a conclusive capture of those responsible. One lead pointed to a possible connection to individuals known for their criminal pasts. Witnesses reported seeing a group of men in the vicinity, acting suspiciously. However, this trail faded without concrete evidence, linking them to the crimes at the cabin. In a small town, everyone seemed connected, leading to an overwhelming amount of conjecture and theories. In the years that followed, new details continued to emerge, and the case took several unexpected turns. For instance, in 1983, a local man claimed to have overheard a confession regarding the murders. His account led police to re-examine their list of suspects, but the complexities of the investigation created more questions than answers. The public's curiosity transformed the case into a subject of various discussions, speculations, and even criminal podcasts, bringing renewed interest to Keddie and its dark past. As time passed, the case went cold, yet it never fully left the public consciousness. Those who lived in Keddie and the nearby areas carried the legacy of that night with them. The cabin eventually became a ghostly reminder of a family torn apart and a community scarred by tragedy. With each passing year, the unanswered questions loomed larger. What really happened that night? Who was responsible for these brutal acts? And most haunting of all, where was Tina Sharp? Tina's disappearance is another tragic layer to the Keddie cabin murders. She was only 12 years old, and her fate remains uncertain to this day. Various searches and investigations were conducted in hopes of finding any trace of her, but nothing has yielded results. It was a heartbreaking chapter that fueled even more speculation. Was she taken by the same individual, or could she have escaped to tell her story? Families nationwide felt the impact of her story, feeling an empathetic connection to a young girl who simply vanished. Over the years, the Keddie cabin murders would inspire countless documentaries, books, and articles. For many, it was more than just an unsolved crime. It represented a heartbreaking reminder of the fragility of life. The unanswered questions drew in amateur sleuths and seasoned detectives alike, trying to knit through the threads of family history, human relationships, and small-town life to solve a case that baffled authorities for decades. Even to this day, the Keddie cabin stands as a ghostly edifice, a site where memories and horrors are intertwined. Travelers who pass through Keddie often learn about its history, intrigued by tales of the Sharp family. Some remain fascinated by the mysteries that lie within the realms of the unknown, while others feel a deep sorrow for the lives that were forever changed on that fateful night. The Keddie cabin murders serve as a testament to the complexities of human nature, relationships, and the secrets that communities can harbor. As time goes on, the hope remains that perhaps one day an answer will emerge. What truly happened that night in Keddie? And will the truth bring solace to the families affected by this dark chapter of history? The answers remain elusive, but the story continues to resonate, echoing through the quiet peaks and valleys of Northern California, reminding us all of the lives lost and the emotions entwined within this tragic tale. In the early hours of March 18, 1990, a heist took place that would become one of the most infamous art thefts in history, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist in Boston. This remarkable event not only marked a significant moment in the criminal underworld, but also left an indelible impact on the world of art. The museum, a cultural gem nestled in the heart of Boston, housed an extraordinary collection of artworks, including pieces by masters like Rembrandt, Vermeer, and Manet. The story of the heist is as captivating as the treasures that were stolen. On that fateful night, two men dressed as police officers gained entry to the museum, claiming to respond to a disturbance alarm. With credentials that seemed legitimate, they were welcomed into the establishment. It was a carefully orchestrated plan that caught the museum's security off guard. Once inside, the thieves took total control, handcuffing the guards and binding their hands behind their backs. The audacity of this act was astounding, but what they did next was far more shocking. The thieves made their way to the museum's Dutch room, where they targeted specific pieces of art with astonishing precision. Among the works they seized was Vermeer's The Concert, a masterpiece valued at an estimated $200 million, and Rembrandt's Storm on the Sea of Galilee. Overall, the stolen collection contained 13 pieces of art, valued at around $500 million today, making it the most significant art theft in history. The sheer value and cultural importance of these stolen works cannot be understated, as they were more than mere objects. They represented centuries of artistic achievement. The heist unfolded within a mere 81 minutes. The burglars meticulously executed their plan, removing the artworks with the type of clarity and speed that suggested they were true insiders, possibly even knowledgeable about the museum's layout and security systems. After securing the artworks, the thieves escaped into the night, leaving behind a scene of chaos. The museum was left bewildered by the audacity and efficiency of the theft, but what ensued was a hunt that would span decades. In the aftermath of the crime, the museum immediately contacted the authorities, and a massive investigation ensued. It was a case that would captivate the public's imagination. The FBI led an extensive search for both the artworks and the thieves. But as the years rolled by, leads would dry up and new theories would emerge. Over the decades, investigators and art enthusiasts have continued to explore various suspects, from organized crime syndicates to rogue art collectors. Some believe that the art may have been destroyed or sold on the black market, while others speculate that it still exists, hidden away from the prying eyes of the world. One fascinating angle of the case is the tantalizing notion that some of the artworks may still be hidden somewhere in the Boston area. The city has a rich history and a vibrant art scene, prompting many to wonder if the masterpieces could be tucked away in a private collection, waiting to be rediscovered. This tantalizing possibility has fueled numerous rumors and investigations, making the case even more gripping. In 2013, the FBI announced that they had a solid lead pointing to a specific criminal organization based in New England. Despite this, the case remains open and unsolved, with no recovery in sight. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum has continued to hold hope that, one day, the stolen masterpieces will return home. To keep the memory of these incredible works alive, the museum has even created an empty frame where the concert once hung, serving as a poignant reminder of what was lost. The Gardner heist has permeated popular culture, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and even fictional recountings. The mystery intertwined with the theft has made it a staple in conversations about art theft and security. The world of art is extraordinary in its beauty, its ability to inspire, and its capacity to be lost, sometimes forever. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum remains a beacon of that beauty, forever marked by the shadows of theft that echo in its halls. In the end, the heist is not just about what was stolen, but also the decades of intrigue, speculation, and the ongoing pursuit of stolen art. It highlights the lengths to which individuals will go to possess beauty, and it raises questions about ownership, access, and the ultimate fate of works created by some of history's greatest artists. The story of the Isabella Stewart Gardner heist continues to unfold, reminding us that while we may witness fleeting moments of beauty, the legacy of art is long-lasting and ultimately transcends even the most audacious efforts to take it away. The Monster of Florence is a gripping tale of mystery, intrigue, and unsolved crime that has captivated both the public and investigators for decades. This chilling saga unfolded in the beautiful and picturesque region of Tuscany, Italy, from 1968 to 1985. Set against a backdrop of rolling hills, vineyards, and ancient cities, the series of murders that took place can be likened to a haunting legend that refuses to fade away from the collective memory of those who hear it. The story begins in the summer of 1968, when a young couple, engaged in a romantic outing, was discovered in a secluded area near Florence. What should have been a serene picnic turned into a scene of horror and tragedy. The couple, both merely in their 20s, was found brutally murdered, marking the first of what would become a disturbing pattern of violence. As investigators delved into the case, they discovered that this was merely the beginning of a nightmare that would stretch over the next 17 years. As more bodies appeared, each case bore a haunting resemblance to the last. Victims were often young couples found in intimate settings, where the tranquility of romance was violently shattered. The killer, who came to be known as the Monster of Florence, seemed to revel in the fear and chaos left in the aftermath of each sinister act. The methodical nature of the murders mirrored the style of infamous killers like the Zodiac killer, creating a comparison that both terrified and fascinated the public. Investigators were drawn into a labyrinth of clues and evidence that rarely pointed in a definitive direction. The monster seemed to taunt law enforcement, slipping through their fingers time and again. The sheer brutality of the killings not only sent shockwaves throughout Florence, but also ignited a media frenzy, leading to endless speculation and numerous theories. Was it a local resident driven by a twisted desire, or perhaps an outsider who managed to escape the watchful eyes of a tightly knit community? Tuscany is known for its rich history and culture, with art and architecture that have stood the test of time. However, the presence of the monster cast a shadow over this idyllic region. The charm of Florence, often filled with laughter and romance, transformed into an atmosphere heavy with fear and suspicion. Residents began to question whether the very beauty of their surroundings was hiding a malevolent force lurking in the shadows. Throughout the years, the investigation witnessed its share of challenges. As leads came and went, some were promising, while others led to dead ends. Witnesses emerged, each with their recountings that sometimes contradicted one another, fueling the mystery even further. There were whispers of a secret society, rumors of a vendetta, and theories ranging from the plausible to the downright bizarre. One peculiar aspect of the case was the involvement of a local journalist who became obsessed with the murders. This individual believed that the monster was taunting him, and he began to draft theories and hypotheses, sharing them with the public in a bid to draw attention. This only heightened the interest in the case and drew more people into an already fevered public atmosphere. As the years passed without a resolution, the public's fascination only grew. Italian cinema and literature delved into the intriguing tale, spinning narratives inspired by the real-life horrors that unfolded. The story of the Monster of Florence became not just about the murders, but a reflection of society's fascination with the macabre, as well as the primal fear that lingers in well-traveled areas now marked by tragedy. By the time the final confirmed murder occurred in 1985, the monster had become a part of local folklore. Tales of dark shadows and ominous figures haunted the vineyards and olive groves, as the fear of the unknown permeated daily life. While the investigation had led to some arrests over the years, none have resulted in a conviction that brought closure to the victims' families or the community that still bears the scars of this dark chapter. To this day, the Monster of Florence remains an enigma. Books have been written, documentaries produced, and various theories debated, yet the truth remains elusive. The lack of resolution only fuels the intrigue surrounding the case. As time passes, the story evolves into a cautionary tale, reminding us of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of beauty and tranquility. The haunting legacy of the Monster of Florence serves as a reminder that not all mysteries are meant to be solved. It lingers in the hearts of those who remember, a delicate balance of fear and fascination. The beauty of Tuscany continues to draw travelers, but for some, the shadow of the past serves as an invisible reminder that the facade of peace can sometimes hide a more sinister reality. Each year, visitors traverse the winding paths and historic sites, unknowingly crossing over the remnants of unspeakable acts that forever altered the lives of many. The Monster of Florence symbolizes the perpetual struggle between the search for justice and the stories that remain untold, echoing through the annals of time. In 1954, an intriguing incident unfolded at Haneda Airport in Tokyo, captivating the attention of officials and igniting curiosity that persists to this day. This story revolves around a man who claimed to be from a country known as Tord, a place that, according to all available maps and records, did not exist. The narrative begins when this gentleman, described as well-dressed and appearing quite confident, arrived in Tokyo on a routine flight. Upon landing, he was confronted by customs officials who quickly noticed discrepancies in his travel document. Upon presenting his passport, which listed Tord as his home country, officials were initially taken aback. They found themselves bewildered, as Tord was nowhere to be found on the world map. The man spoke with certainty about his origin, insisting that Tord was a small but established country located between France and Spain. He detailed landmarks and cities that he said could be visited in Tord. However, airport officials struggled to reconcile his claims with the facts at hand. They pointed to the absence of any record of Tord in their systems, showing him maps that didn't include his homeland. His confusion was palpable, as he pointed to the borders he was familiar with and expressed disbelief at the notion that his country was non-existent. In an attempt to ensure the man was not simply a victim of misunderstanding, authorities conducted thorough inquiries. They took him to a nearby hotel, where he was to be held temporarily while they researched further. During this time, he continued to assert his identity and the existence of Tord, even expressing frustration that officials seemed unwilling to accept his assertions. Various scenarios emerged within the conversations between the man and airport officials. One description was that he recounted how Tord had been a vital trading hub, known for its rich culture and beautiful landscapes. He mentioned a thriving economy and boasted about the unique quality of the wines produced there, painting a vivid picture that not only showcased his homeland's importance, but also his own deep connection to it. This did little to convince the authorities, who remained skeptical, maintaining that they were unaware of such a place. As officials tried to navigate this unusual encounter, the man was placed in a secure environment while investigators sought to uncover the mystery surrounding him. However, the deeper they delved into their inquiries, the more puzzling things became. No record, no entry into Japan, and no known history of a country called Tord could be traced. The attention of the local media began to grow, and stories circulated about the enigmatic visitor claiming to hail from a non-existent land. Days went by, and in another surprising twist, the man simply vanished. The circumstances surrounding his disappearance are incredibly dubious. After being held for questioning, at a moment when airport officials felt they were drawing closer to understanding the enigma, he seemingly was gone without a trace. The ensuing investigation yielded nothing, leaving officials baffled and the media in a frenzy over what they had dubbed the man from Tord. No luggage was ever found, and he left behind nothing but questions and a sense of wonder. The mystery of the man who claimed to come from a country that didn't exist took on a life of its own, spawning various theories. Some wondered whether he was a time traveler or an alternate version of reality, while others posited he could have been a con artist carrying a very detailed fabrication. Some explanations leaned towards the possibility of a psychological condition, suggesting that he truly believed in the existence of Tord, despite evidence to the contrary. Others proposed that this incident was steeped in folklore or urban legend, a story that transcended time and sparked imagination. While the narrative might sound like a plot from a science fiction tale, the man from Tord remains an unsolved riddle of modern history. It reminds us of the vastness of our world and the boundaries of perception. The mystery surrounding this case continues to engage the curious minds of many, exemplifying our innate desire to explore the unknown and embrace the extraordinary. In a world filled with tangible places and concrete names, stories about the enigmatic traveler from Tord serve as a poignant reminder that there is still so much we cannot explain. It reflects the thirst for adventure, the yearning to discover realms yet uncharted, and the recognition that sometimes reality may be stranger than fiction. As we ponder this fascinating tale, it invites us to explore the interplay between imagination and reality, compelling us to think beyond conventional boundaries. The man from Tord symbolizes all that is mysterious in our world and leaves us questioning the very nature of identity and belonging. This story encourages us to remain open-minded and acknowledge that there are countless realities molding the human experience, many of which remain undiscovered or unexplained. Embracing curiosity can lead to moments where we confront the extraordinary, expanding our understanding and appreciation of this vast, perplexing world we inhabit. In a small town in Wales, a puzzling story unfolded in the 1970s that captured the world's attention. It revolved around two identical twins, June and Jennifer Gibbons, who were known as the Silent Twins. From a young age, they exhibited a unique bond that set them apart from their peers. While most children would develop friendships with others, June and Jennifer preferred to communicate solely with each other. This phenomenon quickly sparked intrigue and curiosity in their community. Their deeply private world was filled with secrets, imagination, and a language of their own. June and Jennifer invented words and phrases that only the two of them truly understood. Their twinship was so intense that they became inseparable, creating a barrier between them and the outside world. Most of their interactions with their family and teachers were marked by silence. This led others to perceive them as aloof or antisocial, but in reality, their connection was both profound and complicated. As they grew older, the world outside their self-created universe began to encroach upon them. Their isolation led to rebellion. The twins found themselves increasingly at odds with the expectations of their family and society. They became known in their school for their unconventional behavior, which included episodes of wild antics and mischief that often alarmed the adults in their lives. The twins also began to express intense emotions, particularly through writing. They penned stories and plays, creating vivid characters and intricate plots that reflected their internal struggles and desires. Writing became their escape, a way for them to channel their feelings into something tangible. However, their creative outlet also took on a darker edge. As the twins fell deeper into their own world, the outside pressures mounted. After several incidents that led to them being seen as disruptive, authorities intervened. Their parents, desperate to help them, sought psychiatric assistance, leading the twins into a whirlwind of interventions that only deepened their isolation. They were eventually admitted to a psychiatric hospital, where they remained for over a decade. The time spent in the hospital didn't quell their bond. Rather, it further entwined their identities. Many believed that separating them would be a solution, but the experiences only intensified their dependency on one another. During their stay, they continued to write, exploring themes of love, pain, and the struggles of growing up. June and Jennifer's writing reflected their longing for connection, not just with each other, but with the world beyond the walls of the institution. As they shared stories with one another, they began to weave a narrative of their lives that was haunting and poignant. Their writings captivated the attention of their caregivers, yet the twins remained elusive, unwilling to let anyone break through the walls they had built. Eventually, the time came for June and Jennifer to leave the hospital, a moment filled with anticipation and anxiety. The twins had spent years battling against their circumstances and learning to navigate a world that seemed unwelcoming. As they stepped beyond the institution's doors, a dark sense of foreboding hung in the air. Would they finally be free, or would the challenges of the outside world crush the delicate connection they shared? The twins faced the everyday realities of life, struggling to adapt. They seemed out of sync with their surroundings, encountering societal norms that felt foreign and overwhelming. Despite their attempts to fit in, the bond that had defined them began to unravel. In their search for independence, they found themselves faced with choices that no one can prepare you for. Their triumphs and failures as individuals began to create a rift that neither could fully understand. The story of June and Jennifer Gibbons is not without its tragedy. Over time, they realized the price of their unique bond was far heavier than they anticipated. June, with a sense of deep intuition, predicted that one of them would have to perish for the other to survive. It was a chilling thought that seemed to loom over their existence like a dark cloud. In a heartbreaking twist of fate, the prediction came to fruition. When Jennifer passed away under mysterious circumstances, June was left grappling with an unimaginable void. The silence that once held them together transformed into a deafening echo. In the aftermath of Jennifer's death, June emerged into a world where everything felt different. The connection that had once sustained her now became a source of profound grief. She had to navigate life as a singular entity, facing the echoes of her past and the memories of a bond that was both beautiful and painful. The Silent Twins mystery leaves us with more questions than answers. Their story shines a light on the complexities of identity, the bonds of family, and the struggles of communication. It invites us to reflect on how our connections shape our lives and to consider the depths of understanding that can exist between two souls. As we delve deeper into their world, we find a tapestry woven with threads of love, loss, creativity, and the enigmatic nature of human relationships. Their lives remind us that sometimes the silence speaks louder than words, revealing truths that resonate far beyond the confines of their peculiar existence.